Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine on it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
All right, it's time. Sure you don't have anything to say? For another week. Of N4G Radio.
You know, the worst part is I almost cut you off and tried to say it alongside you just to throw you off your game.
See, you really do want people to hate you. That's what's going on there. You cut off the intro. What's wrong with you?
Yes, but only people on this show.
That's true. This is episode number 649 for April 26th, 2021. We're almost through April. Fucking year's almost half over already.
Yeah.
God damn. But on the show
So
this
you
week.
want to wish me a birthday? A happy birthday. That's my birthday this week.
Oh, well, happy birthday. What are you now, like 56, 57?
You're not far off. 46, I'll be. 46.
Yeah.
I'm all, that is some yes, depressing shit.
I was going to say, you're real close to collecting, like, retirement.
Well, the closer I get to it, the further it is, because in this country it used to be you could retire at like 60. Now it's like 72 or something.
Jesus
Oh no, yeah,
Christ.
no. I'm gonna die walking. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I might be the same, unfortunately, as is the way of the world.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if the progressive agenda keeps going, we'll be able to retire at like 32, Drew. So it'd be all right.
Oh shoot, I'm already past that. Let's do it.
I know. Well, by the time it gets passed, you'll be like 75, so it don't matter.
Well, good. Then I'll just die.
I expect you to die.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
All right. I think you know everybody on the show. We got Anthony, we got John, we got Drew. Whole cast of colorful characters, like a Mortal Kombat movie.
On here.
Like a Mortal Kombat movie that really had about 2 interesting characters in it.
You didn't like the movie, Drew?
I thought the movie was fine, but let's be honest. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were the only characters anybody cared about in that movie.
I don't know. I like that movie.
I thought Kano was pretty good.
I thought
but-
Kano was the best character in that movie.
Ah,
The Magic Mike joke had me rolling. I lost it. That was funny. I don't know. I like that movie.
I thought it was
Yeah,
okay. I'm not bashing the movie. I'm just like, maybe flesh out a few more of your characters. You got a whole list of characters here.
Well, hopefully they make more movies.
I hope so too, because
Because that movie was 2 hours long and there was never a Mortal Kombat.
yeah.
They never had the actual tournament.
I did like every so often it'd almost break into the Mortal Kombat, and then it kind of didn't. It was quite good. I like that.
Yeah, remix of the theme. It's got to be in there. Has to be in there. There's a lot of...
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was.
Hell yeah. I've watched it twice.
That's all you can do.
I watched it twice.
It was visually impressive, yes.
I mean, them fatalities, man.
Oh, they were beautiful. They were a work of art. And that was great as well, not being scared of a particular rating just to appeal to a certain audience. They could have toned that right down. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was full of blood and gore. That was a good time.
Was this always supposed to be just streaming, or was it supposed to come out in theaters?
It was supposed to be like all this stuff coming to HBO Max this year was supposed to be in theaters. So like Godzilla, Tom and Jerry, all this stuff was supposed to be in theaters.
Yeah, Conjuring as well. I'm looking forward to that. That trailer dropped earlier this week as well. The new Conjuring movie, which I'm a big fan of. That series.
I've never seen one of those movies.
They're great fun. I mean, I like horrors, so that's fine. And all right, not all of them are bangers, but I did enjoy Conjuring 1 and 2 and one of the Annabelle movies.
So the Annabelle is part of that series?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is La Llorona, which was really bad. Apparently, I haven't even watched it, and The Nun, which also wasn't fantastic.
Good lord, man! It's like a fucking multiverse.
It's like it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe here.
It is a multiverse of sorts.
It makes a ton of
horror.
money.
I mean,
Remember when they tried to do that with The Mummy, and then it just kind of died out?
well, yeah, some of those spin-off Mummy
Yeah, but
movies were real bad, though.
No. I'm talking about the one with Tom Cruise.
The new one.
Oh, that's
That
supposed to still be good. Like they started that and tried to make it,
now.
and then I still feel like I've heard rumblings that they're still trying to.
I think they ditched it, and I'll tell you why. So, first of all, that movie was actually okay. The problem was they were trying to fit 2 movies worth of shit into one movie.
Wasn't there another movie that happened?
Well, the reason why I say it's not happening anymore is because the Invisible Man was going to be Johnny Depp, which God knows if that was going to go through after all the court shit. And then they ended up doing the Invisible Man with the woman from
I know her
Handmaid's Tale.
from Mad Men.
Yeah.
I know her from Mad Men.
Yeah, so they
also Dracula Untold technically is part of that universe as well, apparently.
well,
Okay.
I mean, as long as it's a Universal Dracula movie.
Wasn't Russell Crowe in it, like at the end?
Oh no,
He was
that's
in not
okay.
a lot of the film.
Here's the problem.
Isn't he
with
Jekyll?
that movie.
I thought he was, Dr. Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll?
Yeah, so this is a movie that no one gives a shit about, but let me explain. I watched it as a
You
bad
do.
movie because the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde
Jekyll.
Hyde part. Fuck off.
It's pronounced Jekyll.
Well, you can suck my balls. How about that? Fucking, I don't give a shit.
I protect my balls.
Your whole country mispronounces the word niche, so I don't give a shit about what the fuck anybody's gonna say about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm pronouncing it Jekyll.
Jekyll.
Okay.
Wait, how do we pronounce niche?
I hear niche a lot.
Okay,
Well, I've
more
never
on-
said it like that.
No, I always say niche.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, then you two are excused from my wrath, but I hear niche a lot, and I'm like, that is not how you pronounce that fucking word.
But also, they mispronounce buoy as well because it's actually boy.
What?
Wait, they
Boy?
pronounce it buoy?
It's Bowie.
Buoy is actually boy. B-O-U-Y is boy.
No, B-O-Y is boy, you jackass.
Okay, we're getting off. We're getting off from my
B-O-U-Y.
my complaints about the Mummy, which is unimportant too. My issue with the Mummy is that it starts off as a Mummy movie. It's okay. It's like not offensive in any way, and then they sidetrack that story to have Russell Crowe come and be
Dr. Jekyll?
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then they're like, "Oh, we're
You're
done
an
with that
asshole.
now." So let's go back to the Mummy movie we were doing, and it's like, well, that's 2 movies worth of crap there, and it's like you could have introduced Russell Crowe at the end of the Mummy movie you were clearly writing, but then you forced it in so you would make the universe quicker.
Yeah,
then
everybody's
they-
trying to
Yes,
catch
no.
up with Marvel. That's
And
just-
and
Yeah,
and,
and that
and
they
it
all do the
changes.
same, don't they?
It changes the tone of the movie halfway through because Jake, is it Jake Johansson or Jake Johnson? The guy who played
Jake Johnson.
Spider-Man. Yeah, the guy who played Spider-Man in Enter the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Peter Parker. They're all Spider-Man, technically. So he is Tom Cruise's friend who ends up dying in the first little bit, and then he starts appearing as a ghost that only Tom Cruise can see. And that was a really interesting sort of funny bit, and then they lose that to go deal with Russell Crowe for a while, and then they sort of never bring it back, and they only fight the Mummy for half of it. And I was like, well, you've lost a bunch of your plot points. And it's very disappointing because it was clearly executive meddling.
Oh yeah, again, it's all about the money, and they want the fact they all want the universe dollars. the cinematic universe dollars really quickly.
Mm.
Yeah.
The best part of the Mummy is that trailer that they released with the sound off.
That's what everybody remembers.
So the most offensive part of the Mummy movie is at one point while they're at Jekyll, I hate that. It's Jekyll's area, whatever the company that takes care of all the monsters is. The one that you play as in the Mummy video game.
The island of Dr. Monroe.
Sure. The whatever company that is, the female lead is going through the library and at one point drops a book off the shelf, and it's the book from the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies.
That's
Really?
And it's like,
Yeah.
don't reference a better movie. Especially one with the same name. Like, everybody wants Brendan Fraser to come back and do a Mummy movie.
Well, now he's in Doom Patrol, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
But you don't know
you
it.
know, and as even though the last Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser wasn't great, like, I'm sure people would love to see him back in that role.
I think people just would love
They
to
were
see
good. They
Brendan
were good
Fraser.
movies.
That's true too, but I mean, a lot of people love those. Those Mummy movies still hold up, except for the
They do.
terrible,
Absolutely.
the terrible
They're great
Scorpion.
fun.
The Scorpion King animation at the end of 2 is awful, but and then that was part of the other thing too. They still make Scorpion King movies.
Yeah, like straight to DVD. Shit.
DVD.
Straight to DVD, yeah.
Do they really?
Oh,
Yes, it's like the Tremors movies. They
There's
just
There's
Starship-
6 of them.
Starship
Yeah.
Troopers does it too, right?
at least
Yeah.
the Tremor ones are supposed to be okay.
Some of the Trimmer ones are okay.
That last one was PG-13, which threw me off. On
The
Netflix.
Tremors one?
Yeah, there's a new Tremors movie on Netflix, PG-13.
The water one, right?
I don't know. I stop.
There's one where they're like on an island and they're water based, and I was like,
Correct.
that's kind of interesting.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the first Tremors movie was PG-13, right?
Was it? I don't know. I'm not a Tremors fan. I just always thought it was R-rated because it seemed like it was kind of gory.
I love the Tremors movies.
Oh, the first movie is so good.
It's because it's a comedy. It's a horror
I think I've only
comedy.
ever seen the first one.
I mean, it's
The
got
rest of
Kevin
them are-
Bacon in it. Come on.
Yeah.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward. Yeah.
Fred Ward kicks ass in fucking everything he's in.
Yeah,
Remo,
that's what I'm
Remo
saying.
Williams is the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's PG-13.
Oh, okay. I always thought they were R-rated. Never mind. Anyway, this is a video game podcast. We like to
Nah,
talk about
fuck
video
it.
games
It's
now.
true.
Shall we?
Our video game cinematic universe continues.
I can't wait for the Sonic the Hedgehog Mortal Kombat crossover.
Dude, I'll
So,
watch
so
that.
at the end of this podcast, are we going to have Gambus Khan come out of the shadows and go, "Greetings, programs"?
It's like it's after the credits, Drew.
Yeah, after the credits.
It's after the credits he comes out and he's like, "Guess who's back, bitches?"
It's like, I want to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
I see Gambus Khan with an eye patch, some fucking salt and pepper beard, and just do it, man.
Mm.
Yeah, leather trench coat just coming out.
Yeah, got his
Smoke
hair in,
walks out.
hair in a ponytail. I've seen Gambus Khan with his hair in a ponytail. It's something. It's exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Epic.
Oh, Jason.
All right, let's talk video games. Drew, you want to kick us off? What have you been playing?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on the show, so I have a lot to talk about. I don't.
Wow.
It's been a while since I could hold my head up high. So has anybody on this show talked about Monster Hunter Rise yet?
Nope.
Okay, well then let me talk to you about Monster Hunter Rise, because I've put a good amount of hours into that so far. My review is up. I think it is... In some aspects, it is better than Monster Hunter World, and in some aspects, I feel like it is just shy of it. The combat in this game is superb. It is the best out of all the Monster Hunters, and that is because of the wire bug mechanic that they've added, where you can just zip across the freaking map. The maps are way different in this one. They're very much huge, open, vast areas that they really want you to ride the Palamute, which is a new animal companion that you have with you. It's a dog, and you can ride it like a horse. And
Like a pony.
yeah, like a pony. But Doesn't it feel like a pony when you sweat. But anyway,
God damn it.
I mean, you bring in Richard Simmons, we gotta.
God damn, is he still alive?
He is still alive, I believe.
That dude.
I think so.
I grew up. That dude was part of my childhood. Him and
But no one-
Slim Goodbody. There's a
Um,
deep cut right there.
Everybody should listen to the Missing Richard Simmons podcast. That is fascinating because he hasn't been seen in the public for a decade now at least.
15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is he anyway?
He's an
Oh,
exercise
yeah, I guess-
dude, sweating to the oldies, man.
Yeah, really flamboyant. And he just made, like, he came out, he wasn't like this big bodybuilder guy telling you to get fit. He was an average looking guy, but he helped a bunch of people lose weight because his stuff was easy to do.
Yeah. He's very
And he had a lot of-
charismatic, very flamboyant.
Yeah.
So
But as you say, like his charisma, like everybody, like I've never heard anyone speak poorly of Richard Simmons.
no, seems like
but
a
then-
super awesome dude.
But then he just disappeared.
Yeah, he just stopped.
Weird.
But so Monster Hunter Rise, the issues that I do have with this game is stuff that you won't see for probably 20 hours, which is the end game stuff. The end game stuff is there. This game kind of just ends as far as the story goes. And they've already said that they're going to basically give the real ending in a title update. That's a free title update, but they said it's going to be coming later. And I'm just like, okay, well. What did you say, John?
I was going to say not like a Zera's Wrath where they put it in DLC.
No. Capcom has done so well with Monster Hunter updates and DLCs and stuff like that. They don't charge you anything for most of it. And if they do charge you something for it, it's like Iceborne, which is like another 50 hours of content. So, yeah, they do a good job there. But it is a little disappointing just to see like the game just kind of end. Like I was just doing a hunt and I was like, okay, this is kind of like a boss hunt. Gotcha. And I did it and then I got the credits and I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know this was the end of the game, which is never really the end of the game. After that, you go back to town and they're like, oh, we got a whole bunch of other monsters you can fight. But that's about it for the story so far. Which they have tons of mechanics in this game. New moves for all the weapons. The hunting horn, which has been my main for the past like 2-3 games, is so good in this game. They have buffed it to hell and back, and it.
I love it when they buff the horn.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did,
Stop it.
and it is so good. Like there
Don't
is,
make me.
if you have somebody running a hunting horn in your party, then you win. It's so good. But no, it's still a fantastic game. I know that there's a lot of bad takes out there because people are pissed off because it's only on the Switch, which it is coming to PC in about a year. But it is the next Monster Hunter game. This is the sequel to World. It is fantastic. And if anybody out there has played Monster Hunter, they more than likely already own this game and are playing it right now. Anybody who has always wanted to get in Monster Hunter but haven't, this is probably the best one to get into. Monster Hunter World's really good at helping out the new players figure out stuff, but this one incorporates a couple of things from the old games. So like the story mode and the single player, which is doing the stuff in the village quests. Then you have your multiplayer, which is completely separate in the Gathering Hub. Which the Gathering Hub, that's where you do your in-game content, where you do your high rank stuff, so where you get the armor sets that you'll actually keep forever. So it's all separate. So it's basically like doing the story mode is kind of doing the big long tutorial to let you learn how to work with these monsters and fight properly with them. And then you go into the multiplayer, which can also be played single player, but it's more difficult. The hunts there are more difficult. And which is how the old games have always been set up. But it is a little polarizing coming off of World, because World was essentially the game that got anybody into Monster Hunter, and it's a little different in this one, but still keeps the great things about World along for the ride. So Can't suggest that game enough. Even to people who have never played a Monster Hunter game before but always wanted to. This is a fantastic entry. But I adore this game. It's definitely in my top 5 games of the year. We're playing Lost Odyssey for Phoenix Down. I'm finally on disc 4.
Remember when they had discs?
This is the last disc of the game. And it even still pops up saying, please insert disc 4. And then a second later it pops up saying, thank you. And then it goes back to the game because I'm playing the downloadable version.
That's funny.
But playing that. That's a long one, but that's a really good one. It is a good game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I'm reviewing a game that you sent me called Ashwalkers. Is that the name of it?
I think
Hang on
so.
a second.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Ashwalkers. A survival journey.
Sure.
So I am reviewing that. That game's already out, so I can talk about it. It is developed by some of the people from Don't Nod. So there was a few people who left Don't Nod to form their own development team. It is kind of a survival game meets a story-driven game. The overall aesthetic is really cool. It's all in black and white. The entire game is. And if your characters get injured, there is red for blood spots and stuff like that. But it's a post-apocalyptic world, and you have a party of 4 people who are traveling this ashland in search for a special place to settle for the rest of the settlements. And it's basically it's almost like a point and click adventure game, but it's just you're getting asked questions. So events will pop up where you have to choose what you want to do. And each character has like a different way of like brute force or sneaking around or diplomacy or, using logic. So there's different ways to handle all these situations. And depending on, I don't know if it's a dice roll if they succeed or if it's scripted or what. I've put probably about 2 hours to it. And I'm still unsure of how this game actually works. I've just been going by what I think was best at the time. So make decisions, you see how they play out, and they lower meters. So you have a hunger, you have a tiredness meter, and depending on what you choose to do, it may lower some of the stats on your characters, and you have to constantly, you'll find things as you're walking around that, wood for building a fire, or you find medicine, stuff like that. So it's not a full-on survival game like you would expect from like Don't Starve or something like that, where you find things to make other things. You don't do that. It's more like it's very simplistic. And I feel like it's more of a story-driven kind of experience than it is all about the survival aspect. But it's interesting. It's just keeping my interest. So it's not like it's overly boring or anything like that. But we'll see. I want to put a little bit more time into it before I start making my final decisions on it. I played MLB The Show.
Yeah.
On my Xbox Series X.
That's fucking weird.
That's really weird, especially when it pops up saying Sony Computer Entertainment.
Dude, it does the full-on like Marvel Universe Sony thing with the symbols.
Yeah.
Like it's all there, and you're like, but I'm playing it for free on my Xbox.
Yep.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Well,
is that this game is free day one if you subscribe to Game Pass on the Xbox.
Yeah.
It is $70 if you want to play on your PlayStation 5.
$70?
I don't get it, man.
That's that. I mean, it's a real bad look. But that was MLB's decision. They're like, "Hey, we're going to do this, whether you like it or not." So, it's great. This is what we talk about when we say competition is good, because this benefits people who have Game Pass like superbly.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention the game's really fucking good. Like I haven't played a show in like 2 years, and like I picked this up and I'm like, wow, this game it's impressive.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks real good.
Did the road to the show. I don't like how they handled the road to the show this year.
I haven't even touched that mode, so
it's just random unless I miss something somewhere. So it's like you're like the up and comer guy, and they ask you, "Are you hopeful for a team?" And I'm assuming this is, I get to just choose the team I want to play for. But I was like, no, I like the randomness of it. I like playing. So in the previous games, you would play like 2 or 3 games based on your performance. You would get drafted by a team. And I liked that aspect of it because it felt like, the Braves chose me because I played really good, or the Orioles chose me because I suck. So, I don't know. This one is just random. It's just like, I don't care whose team I'm on, is what I chose. And it showed him looking at his cell phone, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting a phone call," and it's just the emblem of a team. And I'm like, well, that's crappy. It's just like a random draw.
Huh.
I got drafted to the A's, so I'm playing for Oakland. But guys, it's good, and the amount of customization in that game is insane.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Like somebody who hasn't played it in a couple of years, like that opening menu, there's a lot.
Yeah. There's a ton here. I mean, it's the show, and it's one of the few simulation sports games that I actually like to play.
It's crazy. The Game Pass effect worked again. So this month with Outriders, it became one of the best-selling games on the Xbox Store. And now the show, again, in Game Pass Day 1, is one of the top-selling games on Xbox. So Game Pass doing the work.
So Game Pass, that's not including the downloads from Game Pass?
No, that's monetary.
Monetary.
Yeah. So like Outriders and now the show have both shown up on the top games money-making wise after debuting in Game Pass.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So maybe this means we gonna get some Mo.
Maybe.
I'm down. I want free games as soon as they launch. That's rad.
So yeah, I did play a little bit of Outriders. I did the opening section of that game.
I'm sorry. That is not a good gauge of that game. That opening
I actually liked it.
Well, then you're really gonna like the game.
No. I'm saying like not as far as the gameplay goes. I'm talking like the whole scramble of like, you got put frozen again, and then you wake up and it's 30 years later and all hell's broke loose. And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. Well, then once you actually get into the game, it gets pretty good.
Okay. Then I just don't have the time.
No, you don't. It's a Destiny kind of commitment again.
Yeah, and I don't have that kind of time to commit to that anymore.
Yep. I think I made it to level 15 or something like that. And I put quite a few hours in it because I was reviewing it. And that game is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing it.
There you go. Trying to imagine if there's anything else. I played a little bit of Overwatch just to get the skins and stuff like that, but
we'll talk about that game later.
I don't know if I care anymore.
Maybe you got out. Good for you.
I did not get out because when Overwatch 2 comes out, I'm going to be back in.
Yeah, but that's like a year away, Drew. So you're fine.
Yeah.
Take your break while you can. You know what that game did to people.
I know. I think that's pretty much it. A lot of Monster Hunter, a lot of Lost Odyssey, and then doing some review games. I know I wrote reviews for Persona 5 Strikers. I did a review of Neo 2. What else did I do? I'm blanking.
There was another one. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Angry Video Game Nerd.
Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't talked about that. Those are solid games. Those are.
I like those games.
I do too. They're just hard enough to where you're like, one more time, and I'm going to say, "Fuck this game." But it's not. But you do get that sense of accomplishment when you beat a level.
Yeah.
So I will give them that. The platforming in that game is solid.
Yeah,
It's tight.
It's very good.
And then there's just you can tell that the first game was kind of like the experiment, and then the second game is where they refined it. Because the second game has so much more going on than the first game does.
Yeah, you actually get like upgrades and shit.
Yeah, and you also like just the world map and everything like that. You got a world map in this one, and you can tell that they took everything they did in the first game and said, okay, let's actually make the real video game now.
Well,
So.
to be fair, you really kind of do have to be a fan to appreciate that game.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just a reference every 2 steps.
Yeah, everything was a reference in that game. And then they straight up just made a level based on freaking Custer's Revenge.
Yeah, and they made a level based off fucking LJN games.
That's true. Some of that stuff I have no idea how they got away with.
Yeah.
Some of that is just way too close. I'm just like, really?
I mean,
guess if
but
it's parody, then
yeah, it's parody, so it doesn't matter.
But yeah, no, that's a solid game, and the collection's pretty good. I think it's what, $15?
Yeah, $15 for that. And granted, you could beat the first game in like an hour and a half. Not a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
The second game is quite a bit longer though. So
yeah, the second game's beefier. That's where the main content is. But those are solid games. But like we said, you kind of have to be a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd to get everything out of it, because it's just reference after reference.
yeah, otherwise you're just like, why is he screaming buffalo diarrhea?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's not funny.
Yeah. And what is this little glitch goblin thing?
The glitch gremlin.
The glitch. That's right. The glitch gremlin.
There's so many references. I mean, the final boss of the first game is Fred Fox. Come on, that's pretty good.
Fred Fox.
Fred Fox. Oh shit.
That's. I think that's it, though.
All right, John, you want to talk about video games?
I could do. I ain't really played a lot, to be fair. Played some Control. Yeah, that's cool. Starting to get the powers all down now. Got some of the guns unlocked. Thing is, it's odd that they don't really kind of push you to unlock the different types of guns. Like,
They don't push you to
You get
unlock
no
the
red-
powers either. Like, you can finish that game with like what, 2 of the powers? You don't have to find them all.
It's-
Like, some of them are side missions.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
which
just-
ones, but like you need the float and you need
The shield is an optional power.
yeah, the shield is optional. Yep.
And so is the
Well,
dash.
I've got-
The dash is optional
I've-
as well.
Well, I've got the shield, I've got the dash, I've just got the X-ray one, which is where you can mind control enemies to fight for you. I need the float one because I've got a relic that I can't get to because the gap's too big, so I need that. But that must be story based if I
Yeah,
need
that's
it,
part
so-
of that's that one. They will lead you to that one because you have to have that one to finish the game.
But I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. What else have I played? I bought Judgment. I haven't played it yet though.
Oh man, I love Judgment. Judgment is like the perfect game if you've heard people talking about Yakuza, because it's got all the quality of life shit. It's got the same kind of layout of like side missions, story missions, and combat as the old Yakuza games. But it's not a story that you need to have any reverence for to play it.
You mean you don't have to have played the first 5?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need to know who Kiryu is to play as Yagami. That's just the way it is.
I wasn't going to pick it up, to be fair. I only picked it up because it's cheap. It's on the store. It's not a full price game. On
I'm
the
surprised
Microsoft
you didn't
store.
wait for Game Pass, you cheap fuck.
Oh, I would have done. And so I haven't played that, so that's awesome. Played some more Blade of Fury. Yeah, that thing just isn't settling with me. It's okay. The story's intriguing and interesting, but the combat's been done better elsewhere. That's about it, really. I ain't really played a lot this week. Yeah, that's it. Can't think of anything else.
All right. Well, I'll move on to Anthony because I'm sure we're going to talk about Nier.
Yeah, so before I even get into video games, I am a frequent comic book reader, and DC's been doing a bunch of like collections of stories, like they're new stories, but so you buy an issue, the issues are actually a bit thicker to the point where they have a spine. There's Batman Black and White, and they're doing now, it started last month, Superman Red and Blue. So there's only technically four colors, I guess, in the whole book. It's red, blue, black, white.
Basically the colors of their underwear.
Right. Yeah, basically. And I'm picking up my first, I'm like, oh, I'll pick that up. I'm like, oh, let me get an issue 1. And it's Yoshitaka Amano doing the cover artwork on one of the variant covers. Yeah, so it's neat to have like a Final Fantasy looking ass Superman.
That's got to be a weird looking thing.
You know what? It like immediately I'm like, this is either Amano or somebody clearly trying to be Amano. But yeah, no, it's actually him. So I thought that was cool. So if you read comic books and you like the artwork from the old Final Fantasy games, go look for Superman red and blue. Yeah, so I played more Shadow Man. Oh Lord, it's a good game, but I've clearly, in hindsight, thinking back on that, I've forgotten how much of a fucking maze, and it's just the solution to everything is wander. Because there's very little direction in this game. It is go and fucking wander. And unlike, because like I was saying to you, Ken, it's you mentioned Turok. At least Turok, every problem can be solved by shooting the thing in the face. That is not the case with Shadow Man, because it's built in the idea of like a Zelda game where there's puzzles to solve, and you need certain items to solve puzzles. So you can get to somewhere and not have the right item and have to backtrack. And even with the warp option, or quick travel, or whatever you want to call it, that does not make this game any less tedious. It's still a great game, but good lord, that is a design that is dead, and for good reason. I've been playing the Picross and stuff. I just want to make sure I got the name right. So I did pick up Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion on Switch, and it is just as charming as it sounds. Literally, it begins with you getting a bill for taxes, and your only option is to tear up the bill. And you walk outside, and it's the mayor, and now he's demanding, because you didn't pay your taxes, to have you like tell Turnip Boy to go and do a bunch of stuff. And it's always got a good sense of humor, but I can't fucking play the game. And it's not because it doesn't run well, it's because... So on the Switch, A is the rightmost button, B is the bottommost button. B is back. So to confirm everything, it's A, but if you hit B, it goes back. And it's like... The way they set up the controls, I'm like, I don't know who you looked at that and went, yeah, that's how people play video games. Movement's fine, but when it comes to doing actions in the game, it just doesn't make sense. It's fucking annoying. So I was just like, yeah, I don't have the patience for this right now. Because otherwise it's a Zelda game. It's a top-down Zelda game. You get a sword, you get items. Like, everything is pretty standard and had a good sense of humor, but it's irritating that they would choose that button layout
Well, that's normal for Switch, isn't it?
That A is confirmed.
That's a Nintendo way.
Yes, that is Monster Hunters the same way.
It's the Nintendo way.
Give me a second here.
Well, the Japanese way, because Sony used to do it, but that's always the way.
There was something. Maybe
I
hold on. Maybe I have it wrong. I might have it backwards. There was something wrong with the controls, and it's like I didn't notice it at first, but I'm like something keeps having off, and then it was like in a dialogue option. Sorry. Yep. Sorry. B is confirmed. A is that you're right. I had that backwards in my head. A is back.
okay.
So it's like when you start
would
up,
be
it's like
confusing.
press any button. So I press A, and then if you hit A again, it brings you back to the sort of splash screen. And I'm like, I knew there was something wrong there. You're right. Yeah, A is back. So B is confirmed. That's what throws me off. See, even I fucked it up because it's so uncommon. But yeah, it just, yeah. So I was like, all right, yeah, I don't have patience for this. Thinking of anything else. All right, fuck it. Let's talk about Nier.
Yeah, I'm about 2 hours in.
I haven't gotten that far. I started up today, even though I had it yesterday.
I've broken
so
the package at least 12 times at this point.
I forget a lot about Nier because it was like the first game I had on PS3. I bought it for $10 brand new. I spent like all my paycheck on the PS3 itself. This was after the first model, but like right as the Slim released. And yeah, it's a janky ass game, the original. And so it's weird to see it flow as well as it does here.
So did they change anything about it?
Run smoother. It actually runs. I should just say that.
Yeah, it runs like super smooth, especially on Series X because it's got that back compat upgrade, so it's actually running at like 1440p. It's got HDR, looks real good. Combat's been refined to feel more like Automata.
Yeah, I mean the way he even runs, feels like Automata. For anyone that has never played the original Nier, in that game, the protagonist, seeing as how they're supposed to be nameless, even though we just all call him Nier, he moved like a bag of bricks. He didn't feel like he ever moved very fast, and when he rolled, it was such an uncomfortable... God, combat in that game was rough. Like, if that game had no charm, that game would not be talked about fondly. But it was weird, and took risks, and nobody showed up, and I'm surprised it ever got a sequel. But I also surprised Drakengard got a sequel, so...
It's in the same universe, right?
It's in the same universe as the fifth ending, I think, of Drakengard, right?
Yeah, the first Drakengard game is the only one that's attached to Nier. 2 is based off of a different ending. I think 3 is a prequel for Drakengard. But yeah, so this game moves a lot better. Like I was saying before the podcast started, though, to Ken, the tone is very different with it being a brother and sister and not a father and daughter.
So this is based on Nier Replicant?
It's called Replicant 1.22,
Gotcha.
whatever the fuck.
So the original Nier released in 2 different forms, Replicant and what was the other one?
Gestalt.
And it was either brother and sister or father and daughter.
And and when it came over to America, the only version, Western audiences, I guess, the only version that was localized was Gestalt.
Yes,
so
Father and Daughter.
Father Nier was just...
Father Nier.
Father Nier was just the only... Papa Nier, yeah. So, it's a little bit jarring, but not so much in the acting department, because I like Ray Chase. They brought back everybody other than the Nier voice actor, because obviously this is a much younger one. And Ray Chase, for anyone that doesn't know, played Eve in Nier Automata, Noctis in Final Fantasy 15, and he's a bunch of other characters, but those are the 2 I know him mainly from. He does a good job. It's just, it's clearly there's more than just, oh, we've switched the relationship. The tone of how everybody addresses you also is different. So it's a little weird for me to get used to, but God, the world looks beautiful. And yeah, combat, I mean, that first game is brutal. And people have said like, oh wow, the reviewers really let us down. I saw that fucking tweet, that shit take that someone had, because the original Nier had a reviewer score that was a 6.5, 6.3, something like that. And I have to remind everyone that original game runs like garbage,
It was
especially
rough.
the PS3 version.
Yeah.
The thing that sold it was that it did all these weird things. And one, I do want to give the reviewer some credit. At this point in time, RPGs were not really back in 2010. Like, we're in that rough period where it's still JRPGs and action RPGs aren't really there yet. But more so, this game looked like trash too. For the time it came out, it looked like a PS2 game. So, what would have been 4 years into the PlayStation 3's life, and it looks like an old. So, I'm not upset with that. This game needed the remake. There's a reason why this remake is getting good reviews and why the original didn't.
Yeah.
I just found that very odd that people are kind of going back and looking at reviews from the time and saying, oh, look how they did us wrong. They did Nier wrong. No, Nier deserves that criticism. I love the game. I love the story. But as a game, it kind of sucked. Like, I like Deadly Premonition, but I'm not going to tell you it's a 10 out of 10. I wouldn't even go so far as to give it a 7 most days. Like, there's a lot wrong with that game. And it's okay for games to not be great. Overall, like, they could still have a part that it makes it worth playing. I just find that super odd, and I realized after the conversation last week that we were having about like buying games when they come out. Why would you take a chance on Nier? Like, it had nothing visually interesting about it. It had nothing on the box art that seemed like it was going to pull you in. It was ugly. Like, I'm surprised people showed up at all, but they did over word of mouth over time, and I'm surprised to this day that we saw a sequel, let alone a remake, and as many books that are being translated of all the extra content, and American releases of the soundtrack and such. Like, that's a surprise. That's not the commonplace, though. Most of the time, like, if it fails the first time it comes out, it doesn't get a second chance. So,
I do want to say though that playing this game even today with all the kind of, improvements that they've made, this is still a game from 2010, and you need to realize that playing it, there's going to be a lot of go here, get thing, take thing to person, go back to where you got thing, get another thing. It's very back and forth. A lot of running that could have been.
Yeah, you're going clear across the map too.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And the dungeons are very kind of boring. Like, I recall that, like, having one of the mechanical areas, and it's like, yeah, it's not going to be spectacular. There's things they can't change without fundamentally changing the whole game.
Yep, absolutely.
Then is it a remake? The fact that, like, running feels a lot smoother and you're not fighting against a frame rate already feels so much better than. I mean, I didn't play the 360 version, so I'm assuming the 360 version probably ran better.
It's a little bit better, but it's still kind of trash.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just glad this exists at this point. Like, I know that sounds like such a weird thing because it doesn't sound like a compliment. I haven't played enough, but I just, like, hearing the music again, I was, like, brought right back to, like, my first PS3 experience. Like, oh my god, like, this is exactly how I remember it. And I think that's high praise. When you go to a video game remake and you play it and you go, this is how I remember, that's always better than what it probably was.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I also know Nier is awful. Like, I just remember frame rate being super low. So it's just, yeah, I'm like really happy. I'm gonna play more of it. I'll probably have a more in-depth thought on it next week. You can expand on that, Ken. We can just roll right into you.
Well,
Yeah.
before you jump into it, I do want to mention a couple of things. One of the things that intrigued, so I had never heard of Nier until we did it for Phoenix Down, which was I think like the 4th or 5th game we ever did for Phoenix Down, and it was one of those things of like, we want to play a unique game, or we said weird was what we originally said. What's a weird ass game? And Matt looked it up, and he was like, it's apparently this Nier game is. So we looked it up, and I bought it and played it. And there's 2 takeaways from this. The game is not amazing as far as the gameplay goes by any means. What that game does is it intrigues the player by making you ask questions. What the hell is actually going on here? When does this take place? That kind of thing. And there's 2 takeaways that I got from that. One, Nier has, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Nier has the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a video game.
It's really fucking good.
I didn't want to go that far, but I agree.
I can't think of another. I mean, there's tons of great video game soundtracks out there, but Nier is one of the few that I would own. Like I would go out and purchase, like on vinyl.
I have it on CD. I mean, I also have Automata's on CD.
Automata's
which is very
good
as
too,
well.
but this one
But
is
it's
just,
not.
yeah.
I mean, they recycle a lot of music from Nier in Automata for a reason. Like they remix it, I should say, not reuse it. But I agree. Everybody brings it up, so I'm not like adding new knowledge. But the fact that a lot of the music is sung in the language they built for the game.
Yes. A person invented a freaking language for the soundtrack.
Yeah. It's
That's
really
insane.
good too. It's really good. Like that overworld theme, like you get it in your head. And
Radiant Winds.
Yeah, it's just it's so good.
So and the fact that they've released an acapella soundtrack. There's like a straight up just a complete album of just acapella Nier music.
It's good shit.
It's so good. But the other big takeaway, and do we talk about the ending to this game? I don't want to talk about that.
No,
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of people that have never played it that are going to play it now. So
Okay, so the choice, the final choice of that game is what, like, I was like, this is amazing. Like, the thing that they do, and I don't know if they'll do it in this remake.
I bet you they do.
You think they'll do it?
Oh my god, yeah.
They got to do it.
I can tell you after the show is done why I can almost guarantee it's the same.
Okay. But there's something I've never seen a video game do before in my entire life that happens in Nier, and it happens the final thing you ever do in that game, which means you had to beat that game 4 different times.
There's references to it in Automata too, which is cool.
Yeah, the Automata ending has a take on that sort of as well. I can actually tell you where I found out about Nier, and that was Zero Punctuation. Because he was the only person that talked about it where he went, yeah, so this game just turns into a text adventure at one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds absolutely bonkers. I want to see it. And then it turns into a side-scrolling platformer at times. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It turns into a shoot 'em up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The bullet hell.
Bullet hell.
sections.
There's a lot of bullet hell reference in this game.
There is an entire dungeon in that game that is just a text adventure.
Yeah. Game is weird, man. Yoko Taro is a weird dude, and it can't not be said. He's also extremely horny.
This is true.
Isn't he the one that said, like, when they announced Automata, he was like, please send me all your porn images?
Yeah, because they asked him about it. They're like, do you think you're objectifying? He was like, I just like to look at women in skimpy clothes.
Yeah, I just remember him asking. I thought it was him. I was pretty sure it was him. Of like being like, yeah, just send me what you got.
I mean, the
People
main
said something like,
character,
"Thank you."
the main character says what everybody is thinking in the first encounter with Kanye, where he's talking to Grimoire Weiss, and he's like, "Why is the girl in her underwear?"
Grimoire Weiss is such an underrated character.
Oh, he's a
He is.
great character.
You
Like-
know who that is, right? This voicing.
No.
He sounds like Pierce Brosnan being a dick, is who he sounds like.
He is the guy that plays War in the Darksider series.
That dude's
Ah!
voice is epic as fuck.
Yes, it is. He
Liam
is.
O'Brien.
He is so good.
Isn't he also Gil in Street Fighter V?
I have no idea.
The voice sounds extremely the same, and his voice is very, very, very easy to pick out.
He calls her a hussy.
Like, that dude's voice
Yeah,
like commands
he is Gil.
attention. Yeah,
And he's also Asura in Asura's Wrath.
I mean, that makes sense.
And that makes so much sense when he's screaming. And he's Gollum in Shadow of Mordor.
Gotcha.
He's
there-
got fucking range. Holy
Yeah, he
shit.
does. You know who's got fucking range? We mentioned it, Final Fantasy 15. The guy that plays freaking Gladios.
Yeah.
So the deep voice that guy has. He also plays Junkrat.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good range.
That's crazy.
And he looks nothing like I would have expected him to.
No,
No, the guy that plays Reinhardt always throws me off. You ever seen him?
he's an older white dude.
He looks like Lloyd Kaufman. And his voice is that deep ass German giant monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that Darren DePaul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren DePaul, isn't he Gladio?
No, Gladio is the guy that plays Junkrat.
Yeah, different guy. And Junkrat's voice is way different than
Junkrat's voice is high pitched and very Australian.
yeah. He's got a lot of like hard R rolls, like like that kind of stuff, and it's real good.
Also, Darren DePaul was Darren DePaul's Arden, right, in Final Fantasy 15. And where did I see it? He was J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man.
I mean, how do these guys
Oh!
not get the love that fucking like Troy Baker and because the dude that plays War has been one of my favorite voices. Another voice that I really love that I have no idea who it is in Lords of Shadow. I don't know how to describe him, but you'll know who I'm talking about. The buffalo dude that you run into like maybe halfway through the game. Oh my god, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry.
When you
Buffalo.
say Buffalo Dude, do you mean
Like he's got the
Minotaur?
robes and he's got horns on his head and oh fuck.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I played Lords of Shadow.
I mean, fucking the main character's voice is excellent in that game. The voice acting in Lords of Shadow is superb.
Yeah, it is.
But
It's got
that
Patrick
guy-
Stewart, dude.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. Yeah. But the dude
Yeah.
that I'm thinking of, like his voice has always stuck with me, and I remember it so well, but I cannot remember the character's name.
One of my favorite voice characters ever was in Darksiders. The guy who is the vendor.
Wasn't that Hamill?
Oh,
No, that's not Hamill. That's
Hamill was Volcrum.
Oh, Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar's.
Volcrum is the
Volgrim is
vendor.
yeah, Volgrim is Phil
and
Lamar.
Hamill is the Watcher.
Oh, that's right, the Watcher. You're right.
But if you're just standing in the menu section looking at like his wares, he'll just comment every once in a while.
Yeah, his voice is really good.
He's like, "Oh, you like that one right there?"
Man,
So good.
voice actors in some games, man, they just
Are
put
you
to shame
talking-
other games.
Are you talking Pan, by the way?
Yes, Pan. Yes.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. His
He's
voice is incredible.
Yeah, and he's not in a lot. He was in he does some more live action stuff. That seems to be his like kind of only voice acting role. It seems.
I don't know. I love games with excellent voice acting. They always stick with me.
And
Nier
it's
has
just-
some great voice acting.
Yeah, near the original. This has I like. It's clear that they've redone the voice at work in this. Like they didn't just take the original audio, and I think they may have even redone the music. So
If you boot up the game, does the first thing that
No.
that's said is Vice,
No.
you dumbass? No.
no, that is you have to leave it on the title screen for that.
'Cause every time I boot up that game for Phoenix Down, I was just here, why is you dumbass? And I'm like, Jesus, every time I boot this game up.
Yeah.
Yoko Taro is a dude, man. He's a weird dude.
He likes to wear that helmet
He's always got it on.
of a meal.
Yeah,
Meal.
which is in.
Near, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't wear something from Drakengard because that's kind of not a great
Yeah,
game.
you've
So-
seen. You want to talk about a game that needs a remake? It's fucking Dragon.
Oh.
Right? Have you ever seen the frame rate in those games? Oh
all
my god!
3. I own all 3. Like, they didn't get better. I don't think it has anything to do with the second game in writing, but like the third game on PS3 also does not run well.
No,
And it's a later PS3 game, so again, you go, how is this so bad?
those games.
The
ran
reason
like
why-
trash.
There's a reason why he's the only the creative director on this remake and not the director.
I can tell you something else because you're about to get a game, Anthony. Load up Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Oh.
That's a PS3 game that looks like an early PS2 game, and look at the frame rate and say, how is this possible?
I mean, it's so funny. It's so funny, like the difference between people talking about like frame rate and stuff, and like when we talk about these games, how bad they are, and it's just like, man, have you seen a Switch game lately trying to run?
That's one thing I have to. The Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise runs perfectly.
That's because
You know-
Capcom is fucking. They take the time to actually do it right.
They do it right, but man, playing that game on my TV in 1080p, I'm just
You can
like,
Well, yeah, it's because you're running it on the Switch, and Capcom opted for frame rate over resolution, and that's why it
Yeah.
runs good and it looks like shit.
and that's probably the best idea because it's Monster Hunter.
I have one more thing to add. I forgot to mention. So I've had Hat in Time on my PC for a while, and 1.3 platform to take on the go, and yeah, that Switch port of Hat in Time is not how that game probably wants to be portrayed. It's fine, but it's not great.
I mean, after seeing everything that's been happening lately with stuff getting, 120 frames a second patches and stuff running at buttery smooth 60 frames a second, I can't play Switch games at sub 30, man. It's bad.
It's not even frame rate. It's like the game just doesn't look very good at all. And I'm not saying it might be frame rate. Definitely texture resolution and all that stuff is down, but like I feel like the actual geometry is worse too. I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't
feels like
shock
a
me
downgrade.
because they'd have to take out pieces to make it even run decently.
Yeah, it does not. It's fine. If that's the only way to play it, okay. But like I was playing,
But that's
it
the
and I'm
problem
going, yeah,
nowadays is there's never that's the only way to play it unless you're talking about like a Nintendo first party game. That is not the
it's
only
more
way
of
to play it.
like if that's the only way you have to play it. I'm not going to say, yeah, so you should play this game. Also, maybe go and buy a console to play it that isn't the Switch.
Oh, no,
if that's
no.
all you have and all you have and you want to play the game, it'll be fine. It
Yeah.
just gets so much better from there.
A Hat in Time has got some very big open areas too.
And it just got a patch for PS5 and Series X to run
And
at 60 lock.
And it doesn't run poorly in those areas. It's just something's off about it, and like I can't put my finger on it directly, but it's just I'm like, this is not how this game. Like clearly, this was an afterthought. Like people demanded it, so they did it. Not, oh, we can get this to run really well.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of developers put it on Switch first because they know it's where it's going to sell. But I think then they bring it to PC or PlayStation or Xbox, and they're like, "Oh, wow, my game can run so much better."
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, well, I'll run through some stuff real quick. The game I talked about last week that I couldn't talk about because it wasn't out yet, and boy, this is a name for a game. It's part of the Toho series. It's called Antinomy of Common Flowers.
What the hell is that?
It is a 2v2 fighting game in the Toho universe. It's a tag-based fighting game, so it's actually pretty good.
2D, 3D?
2D.
Okay.
And it incorporates, standard button combo stuff, but also bullet hell kind of shooting from the different characters. What I like about this game is that it's incorporating something that was made really popular with stuff like Power Rangers, and what is that other game with Shovel Knight in it, the fighting game? I can't remember the name.
That's
Blade Strangers?
Blade Strangers, yeah, where you don't necessarily do button combos, you press a direction plus a button to do different moves.
That's essentially Smash Brothers.
Yeah. What is interesting about this game is the characters are always in flight, so pressing down to duck doesn't duck, it like flies lower, but it's like it's on a pivot. So when you press it, you go down, but you automatically come back up, kind of like a bounce. Almost like a reverse jump. But it's actually it plays really well. It's very simplified. It does have kind of a lack of modes. It's got a story mode which makes you go through each pairing individually before you can unlock new ones. So it's not like you can pick. Got a versus mode and an online where there is absolutely nobody playing.
What are you playing this on?
PlayStation 5 through back compat. It's PS4. It's out on Switch, PS4, and I think PC. No, just PS4 and Switch.
Okay.
So
give me an example of some Toho characters.
I don't know them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Most of the games in the Toho series are like bullet hell kind of games.
That never paid attention to the characters in a bullet hell game, except the one where you play as the dolphin.
Yep, these are they're all girls.
Gotcha.
But they're not like gross.
They're not 14-year-old girls that are actually 2,000 years old and only wear, bra
I
pants.
don't know how old they are, but they're not like showing off their stuff. Let me put it that way. They're
Okay.
just like little like mages and stuff like that. Like
Gotcha.
it's not gross.
It's antinomy of common flowers?
Antinomy of common flowers. Yes.
Okay, so it's on PlayStation 4, Switch, and Windows apparently.
Huh? This press release doesn't even mention Windows. That's interesting.
Well, the Toho stuff is all really weird because it's all like based off of a free to play game thing. Yeah, it released in 2017 on Windows.
Gotcha.
And then has been ported to consoles this year, even though they were announced in 2019. Wow.
Apparently, there's 19 characters, including and Drew. Here's some names for you, including series heroine Reimu Hakure. So there.
Oh yes, there you go.
I knew you would know that.
Reimu, right.
Yeah, Reimu. You're
from that one game, Reimu versus the Demon Warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I also was playing some Street Fighter. That's why I mentioned Gil, because I was playing some Street Fighter 5.
I was about to say, yeah, you're up on the Street Fighter lore here.
Because Rose dropped this week.
That's right.
She's still as awesome as she ever was.
Mm.
I still wish that game was better.
So what's so bad about that game now, Ken?
I don't think there's anything. Excuse me. I don't think there's anything necessarily bad about it, other than the fact that it's just got a stigma of it took 5 years to get where it is.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I'm sure Street Fighter V right now is a totally fine game, but I will never go back to it because the first 7 to 8 months of that game's launch was god awful.
I will tell you one thing I hate about going into Street Fighter to check it out at all. It has the two-way update system, so like even if your PlayStation downloads the patch, when you boot up the game itself may also have to patch through its native app, which means you can only play like versus or practice while it's sitting there downloading, and then it will reboot the game again and then patch it, and then you can play.
Why would you do that?
I don't understand that system, but it feels like every time a new character drops, I'm like, all right, let's go check out this new character. I have to wait for the native app to, even if I've downloaded the patch in the background, I still have to go through the process of patching it within the app. And that's kind of... Is
she the first of a new pack?
No, that was Dan. Dan was the first. So it's Dan, Rose, and then the next character is coming. I'm really excited for the next character. It's Akira from what is that? What's that company called? The Fighting EX Layer people.
Oh, okay.
Or wait, no, she was Rival Schools, right?
Yeah, she's
Kira?
Rival Schools.
Yeah, Rival Schools. Yeah. Sorry.
They didn't do Batsu?
No, they did Akira.
Okay.
She rides in on a motorcycle. Everybody's like people listening is like, what the fuck is Rival Schools?
It was a fighting game produced by Capcom back in the 90s.
So yeah, going in, checking out Rose. I was always a fan of Rose when she was introduced to Street Fighter Alpha. Thought she was an interesting character. She's still an interesting character.
She's a big keep away character.
Yes, she is. So that was my excuse to boot up Street Fighter V. And then I hopped over. We talked about Judgment. That's a good game. If you haven't played it, you should play it. Talked about Nier. That's a good game. Talked about the show. That's a good. There's a lot of good games lately. The final DLC for Immortals: Phoenix Rising is out.
Yeah, that's a top-down Diablo style.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. Like I forgot this was happening because the only one I was focused on was the Eastern one.
The Chinese lore one.
Yeah, which was cool, but I felt like they really didn't like differentiate his powers from like the powers from the main game, so it was kind of meh.
But these DLCs, you have to beat the game before you play it.
So the first and the third ones, yes, because they involve post game content.
Gotcha.
The Eastern one, no, that's a separate story. So this one, you don't have to beat the main game, but it's going to spoil the main game. So I don't want to talk too much about the premise, but you are correct. It is a top-down Diablo-style game. It still uses the same controls, which takes a little getting used to. From a top-down perspective, I was expecting like tap the face buttons to attack, but you do not. You still tap the right bumper and right trigger to attack.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick up stuff. You get powers as you go along. You're basically being aided by the gods as you play. Like that's kind of the joke, is that it's a top down because they're watching you go through.
They're watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that works out. But it plays really pretty good. And
Cool.
I like the new character that they introduced for this DLC. Like this has been, minus that first one, which was just trial bullshit, which has become a plague of DLC for big games.
Yeah.
The two other DLCs in this season pass have been really good.
I may pick up the last two then, because the first one I don't give a crap about the trials.
I mean,
Is
truth
there
be told,
anything else
though,
on that?
it's probably going to be cheaper just to buy the season pass as both of those two separate. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you may be right.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that first, like as much as I love that game, I only played about an hour of that first trial DLC, and I was like, I don't want to play this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stop doing that, companies.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool when Bioshock Infinite did it way back at the beginning of this DLC shit.
No, hey, let's not forget that Borderlands was the first one to do it.
Oh yeah, that Borderlands DLC was so fucking boring.
Mad Moxies, whatever.
Yeah,
Hold on.
the arena shit.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that is not how we want DLC. We want to continue or expand upon what we were enjoying, for the last 20, 30 hours. But anyway. Did I play anything else before I run through these indies? Nope. Okay. I played The Hitchhiker, a mystery game. That is a weird game.
Does it have Rutger Hauer in it?
No, it does not have Rutger Hauer in it. It has some like redneck dude eating raisins.
Okay.
Literally, the game just starts with you in the car with them having a conversation, and you can just pick choices. And apparently, it gets real weird if you keep playing. But after like 10 minutes, I was just kind of bored. So I'm just answering questions and like poking this bobblehead on the dashboard and rolling the window down. I don't know.
Were you the hitchhiker, or
I am the hitchhiker, like it's in first
Gotcha.
person, and you can just kind of look around the car.
did you have the option to pull out a knife and stick the man up?
Not yet, but if that was the case, then I might have kept playing.
Yeah.
There was a game called Ant Venter. I'd like to tell you what kind of game this is, but it crashed on me 6 times in a row, so I just gave up and deleted it.
Maybe you had to invent the game.
I might have.
It's a point-and-click adventure, but kind of weird that it just crashed.
Yeah, I would boot it up, and it was like, this game had a problem. I'm like, okay, so I shut it down, booted up again, and it asked for me to sign into my account. I'm like, okay, and then it crashed again, and then like it just did that like 6 times. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Dead Dust is a Western-themed top-down game where you pick a character and you just gotta try to survive as long as you can. There's 3 different characters. Once they die, they're dead, so you gotta pick a second character. I killed all 3 of those characters and deleted it. It was not very fun.
Okay.
Dungeons and Gravestone. You're this little knight. And you basically move like a chessboard, attacking things. It was not fun either. Sorry. I had problems this week with these games. I booted up a game called Moon Raider, which looked a lot like a 2D side-scrolling like Mega Man style game.
Sure.
But it had no fucking sound. Like, the sound didn't work.
Maybe it's because you're on the moon and you can't hear anything.
It may be. But, like, I was shooting my gun, I was jumping, like, there's no music, there was no sound. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll come back to this game at a later date. And then the game I want to talk about, this game is rad. You should go check this game out. It's called Battle Axe. It is a top-down, pixelated, like, beat-em-up kind of game. You can pick between 3 different characters you can actually play, multiplayer locally. Reminds me of some old, like, fucking Golden Axe type shit.
Sounds like Gauntlet almost.
Yeah, it is kind of... Okay, so it definitely takes inspiration from Gauntlet, because when my health got low, it would tell me, like, Dark Elf needs food. Like, it actually said that.
Okay.
But it's very animated, very 16-bit era kind of beat-em-up game, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's also hard. Like, I got to the boss of the first level, and he kicked my ass.
That sounds like Gauntlet.
Yeah. But no, that game is rad. I think you should check it out. And I downloaded a couple of the EA 120 FPS games. I downloaded Titanfall 2. That game is still rad. I saw somebody boot that up this week, and they're like, wow, this game looks like trash. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that game looks amazing still. And playing it at 120 frames a second, oh my god. I really believe that 120 frames a second is only viable for fighting games and shooting games.
Sure.
I don't think it matters. Like, I played New Super Lucky's Tale at 120 frames a second. I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? And then I played Overwatch at 120 frames a second. I'm like, oh my god, this is game changing.
It also matters if you have a 120 hertz television.
Well, of course it does. You wouldn't be playing in 120 hertz if you didn't have one.
Well, I don't have one, so...
Well, then you don't need to worry about it. But what I'm saying is when you do get one, only shooters and fighting games, you will notice a difference.
Gotcha.
So I played Battlefront 2 as well, and wow. I gotta tell you, man, a shooter at 120 frames a second, that's like a different ball game.
Dude, the freaking Division 2 at 60 frames per second was insane.
Yeah, like, imagine that again. Imagine getting that much of an upgrade again. Like, your precision is so good at 120 frames a second. Like, I'll just give you an example that you will understand, Drew. Soldier 76's recoil in, like, his new one, where it, like, just kind of goes up.
Sure.
Like, it stays in a straight line. At 120 frames a second, I can keep that on a specific dot. Like, as you fire. Like, it's just the response time that you're getting from the controller to the screen makes your aim so much cleaner. Like, it's insane. Like, how much more like, imagine twice as responsive as what you're used to.
Right.
And that's just how fast it is. Like, it made me a better player. And, like, when I'm online playing, I'm like, I know that I may not be as good as most of these people playing, but this makes me a shit ton better than the people that I am as good as. Just because I have a technical advantage of having an extra 60 frames.
Huh.
So, I sit there and I think about it, I'm like, how is this fair?
It's not.
You know, like... basically, somebody who is the same skill level as me will lose to me because I have a faster refresh. So, yeah. I don't know, man. All I know is once you play... Here's the problem. It's kind of like how we tell you not to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey till you played Assassin's Creed Origins.
Right.
Don't play 120 frames a second until you plan on not playing 60 frames a second of that game again.
Sure.
Because if I tried to go back to 60 frames per second Overwatch, I would feel like I've done it. I've turned it off and went into the training room, and I was like, I can't hit anything. I can't hit the dummies.
Except me getting used to playing Quake 3 Arena on a 56K modem, and then whenever I switched over to a DSL modem, I was like, I can't aim properly anymore.
Yeah, like my aim is too fast. What's going on? It's crazy, man. Technology is crazy. Anyway, that's. I think that's it. I know a lot of people were out there playing Returnal this week, but we're not cool if we weren't playing Returnal this week.
No.
Sorry. But anyway, let's talk about what you can play this week. Systematically Muffed.
Okay.
That's coming. This is Series X and PS5 games. R-Type Final 2. I am excited to play this.
R-Type.
Is this
I
a
like
new one?
R-Type.
Yeah, it's a new game.
Okay.
Yeah. It's coming to everything, too. Like, their Kickstarter stretch goals got it on everything. So, Genshin Impact is getting its PS5 version this week. As
Xbox version at all at any point?
No, that's not happening. It's a Chinese company. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Terminator Resistance, the enhanced edition for PS5, is out this week.
That's meant to be quite a good game, apparently.
It is. We've talked about it on the show.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's real shitty that they're only doing that for PS5 though, because I bought the Xbox version, so I don't.
I might get to it.
No, they said they're not doing it.
Oh, okay, maybe they won't then.
Yeah, I yelled at them on Twitter. I was like, "Y'all suck."
Did you seriously say that?
Yeah, I was like, "Why are we not getting an Xbox version?" They're like, "We only do for PS5."
I can't see that. I don't understand it in this current situation where the Xbox Series S and X have sold incredibly well. It's not as if they're lagging behind like last generation. It's not as if there's no reason to do it. You know what I mean?
I have no idea why they would only do the PS5 version. Makes no sense to me.
I mean, if you take a look at Wario, whenever he posts that Xbox is available, the amount of comments are saying, "I don't want this shit."
What's funny is it sells out in 52 seconds, so apparently somebody does. So shut the fuck up.
Well, PlayStation sells out in 30 seconds. So.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, well, it's clearly a better console then.
I'll tell you. So the other game that's out this week is Returnal. It's out on Friday. I think a lot of people are going to buy this game. I think a lot of people are going to be pissed.
Why do you say that?
I think it's a quality. Don't get me wrong.
Game?
Yeah, the new Housemarque game is a I'm sure it's a quality video game. I have no doubts about that. But this is not a normal first-party Sony single-player narrative-driven game.
Yeah, this is essentially
A roguelike.
An arcade game.
Well, it's essentially the equivalent of the Medium.
No.
Because the Medium is, here's your big top quality Series X game exclusive, and you play it, and you're like, okay.
Well, first off, the big difference there would be, Drew, is I didn't have to pay to play the Medium.
Very true.
Returnal is $70, and it's a roguelike.
Oh, man, that's just...
You're never going to play that then.
That is a nice stab in the chest right there.
You're going to have to get used to that, because every first-party Sony game is $70 this generation.
Man...
Yeah.
Enjoy, fanboys. That's all I can tell you. Holy crap.
Yeah. So
It is pretty bad that they've all jumped on this pricing thing now.
Will
Thanks,
Xbox
Activision.
follow suit, though?
I don't think
Well,
Xbox
Game
has
Pass,
to
innit?
care because it's own Game Pass.
That's true, but I mean, if you, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who don't have Game Pass, and
I'm gonna be real honest with you, Drew. Microsoft got to release a first-party game first before I know how much it's gonna cost.
this is also true. This is also true.
I bet
I'm
you.
guessing. When is the next first-party game from Microsoft coming?
Halo.
Is it Halo?
That's the only one I know
said
of.
That's not coming until next year.
No, it's this
Yeah.
year, but
Is it this year?
yeah, that's the only one I know of because they haven't announced any other games coming out this year. I mean, there are
Forza,
exclusive
there's gotta be a
games.
Forza at some point.
I mean, Forza's coming, yes, but it's not been announced.
No, it hasn't. No.
So, well, I mean, Forza Motorsport has, but that ain't out this year. Forza Horizon 5 is the one that everybody thinks is coming out this year, but that hasn't been announced.
Oh, I don't think it'll be this year. I think it'll be. I think Forza 7's going to be first,
It's not 7.
or whatever it's going to be.
It's just called Forza
Mo-
Motorsport, and it's not out this year.
I think that's next.
I bet you they stealth drop Horizon 5 this fall.
Nah.
Because we know
Yeah.
Fable's not coming out, Everwild's not coming out, Perfect Dark's not coming out. Like, Halo is the only game that I know of that's coming out this year. For sure.
Yeah.
And that could
Also,
get delayed.
I looked up Returnal because I clearly didn't know what it was. I expected something far more arcadey from Housemarque. I'm glad that they aren't just sticking to their guns.
But I kind of think that's what it is, though.
Well, no, it's a roguelike, which is different than.
But
the
apparently
shooters
it
that
plays
they've
like
been
a shooter.
making. Oh, well then.
Like,
still,
it's got like the
I
bullet
just don't
hell
see
kind
it.
of stuff in it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just one of those. I definitely thought that was going to be far more arcadey than it looks.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've heard, because people are playing it, like Sony sent out codes last week, and people are playing it, and the what I've got is that it's a very well-made game that is very, very, very hard.
Of course. I mean, that's kind of their staple too, right? That's the arcade aspect as well.
But it's
So-
also, like, they didn't hide it. It's right there in the name. Returnal is a combination of return and eternal, which means you're just playing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
So it's right up your alley, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not paying $70 for a game I'm going to hate. There's no way in hell that I don't begrudge anybody who's enjoying that, but I think the problem is that this is the first big first-party game that Sony's been pushing since the system launched, and people are going to buy it because, let's be fair, while Sony had a couple games at launch, they ain't had shit since.
Yeah.
So people are like, I need a new PS5 game. This is it. And I think people are going to not be real thrilled about
No,
what
Sony,
it is.
they'll love it.
Well,
they'll
the
love it.
fanboys will say they love it, just like they said they love Destruction
Yeah.
All-Stars, which has 5-player count online right now.
Yeah.
By the
You
way,
know
Destruction
it, boy.
All-Stars is $70. I just want you to know that.
So is Godfall.
Oh, God. Godfall. Oh.
Yeah, that's exclusive, but it's still Gearbox.
Well, it's
Yeah, it's not
it's only a
actual-
window, though. I think it was a 6-month window, so it's
Yeah, well.
it's coming to Xbox, and nobody...
Yeah, nobody's
Game
going to play it
Pass.
there either.
That should be in
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass, because that,
Yeah.
yeah, if that's not in Game Pass, don't expect anybody to be playing that on
It's-
Xbox.
It's I can't even remember the name of it. Oh fuck it! I was gonna make a joke. But it's Battleborn. Part
Battleborn.
2.
Yeah.
Battleborn, yeah.
Except that you can probably play it in 10 years, whereas you can't play Battleborn.
I don't know.
Except that
I don't know how it
Battleborn is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Battleborn was alright. Alright, PS4 and Xbox One, we've got Terra Trilogy, Secret Neighbor, Crypt of the Necrodancer, R-Type Final 2 is also coming to Xbox and PlayStation 4. Before I Forget, and Protocol. Those are all the games coming to those.
Oh, that's actually the name of the game, Before I Forget.
Yeah, it's called Before I Forget.
I thought you were like, oh, Before I Forget.
Nope,
Is
nope.
I just that sounds like Tell Me Why or something like that.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it deals with dementia. Let's take a look.
I mean,
Oh no! Oh yeah, no, there it is. A game about dementia.
Hmm.
Love it.
okay. Alright, the Switch doesn't have as many releases as it normally does, but it does have more than
Whoa.
everybody else. We've got
I feel very disappointed.
We've got Chess Ultra, Death End Request, Pure Pool, Crime Opera The Butterfly Effect, Grisaya Phantom Trigger Volume 1 to 5,
Oh my god.
Taiwan Monster Fruit, and Taiwan Monster Fruit Prologue,
Okay.
Monster Fruit, okay.
Battle Axe, which I talked about a little bit ago, is coming to the Switch this week. That game's rad. Go play it. Castaway Paradise, Fly Together, Recnum Sherry Dreamland,
That's close. Real close.
Angels with Scaly Wings, Sam & Max Save the World Remastered, Super Arcade Soccer 2021, and the big Nintendo release for this week, New Pokemon Snap.
That's
Which I
right.
want to
Oh, yeah,
review,
forgot
but
about
we
that. Yeah.
probably won't get.
No, we'll get it. We'll get it on Friday.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Nint-
I want to review that desperately.
Nintendo games we always get on release day ever since that hacker pulled the code out
Right.
and put it on the web. So like the
No, it wasn't a hacker. I thought it was a
yeah, it was a
smaller
reviewer that
fucking,
got it out. Yeah.
fucking bastard.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not saying he should be skinned alive, but
He should be skinned alive.
If somebody had a potato peeler,
yeah, if you have a potato peeler and a lot of free time,
Okay.
That's gonna hurt.
that's actually a sequence in a video game called Mystery of the Drew. It's where they like start skinning the flesh off a man and eating it, and he's just screaming the entire time, and there's just this cutscene.
Why are you laughing
it's
about
the stupidest
this?
thing. Because it's so dumb. It's
no.
stupid.
Look up that game.
I know. I'm just playing. All right, let's do some
That game
news.
is the most ridiculous looking game I've ever seen in my life.
Let's do some news. Tales of Arise has a launch date now. It's coming September 10th.
Is that a Tales of
Yes,
game?
a
I take
Tales
it.
game.
A
Hence the
Tales
name.
of
Tales
this
of.
area and
Yeah.
Well,
Tales
sometimes
of
it's-
and
Sometimes it's a normal word after it, and other times it's like Zisteria.
this Bisteria.
Tales
Tales of
of
Ballsack.
Tales of Biscuits.
Now I would play that.
I bet you would. Biscuit lover.
Hell yeah.
Two
Who doesn't love a
new,
biscuit?
two new games announced for Game Pass for this week coming up. We've got Destroy All Humans, the remake.
Nice.
And Second Extinction, the Left 4 Dead dinosaur robot game.
Early access.
Early access, but it will have achievements.
That's good though. That's the sort of game. If you look at things like Evolve and like, that's the sort of game that'll benefit from being on Game Pass.
Sure. Xbox Cloud Gaming is coming to Windows 10 PC and Apple phones. The betas went
I've
out
got
this week.
it.
How was it?
It works as it intended. This is on the iPhone. It works as intended. It's a browser. That's how they've got to do it. That's how they've got to do it. But they've done it so that it doesn't feel like it's not an app. You share it to your home screen and it plays just like an app. So yeah, clever way around it.
I got an invite for it, and I remembered as I was opening the email, I don't give a shit. I haven't
Okay.
taken.
I have messed around with xCloud a good amount.
I take my Switch out of my dock every once in a while, and it's to move it into my son's room, which also has a dock. I don't play these
Well,
fucking
it's-
things
it's-
handheld. I don't like
you
handheld.
don't.
No.
But some people do. It's a
I wasn't
feature.
talking about some people. I was talking about me, John. This was my experience. That's why I
Who
deleted
cares
the
about
email.
you?
Nobody gives a shit about me. I know that. I'm not under any impression otherwise. Anybody still playing Marvel's Avengers? The Tachyon Anomaly event began on April 22nd. You can go get
Yay.
some skins.
I'll pay for them, have you?
PlayStation announced that PlayStation Now streaming will now support up to 1080p for supported titles. So you can stream at 1080p. 1080p. Sony had some good news this week. They have announced that the PlayStation Store for PS3 and Vita will continue operations. However, the PSP store is still going to close because nobody gives a shit about the PSP.
Well, that is some Microsoft size U-turns, that one, isn't it?
Yep. Big old turn. I mean, even Jim Ryan wrote the blog post. So.
Yeah, that's how fucked up that was. That was like, oh shit, we done a doozy.
And somebody figured out that they made it so you can access the old version of the PlayStation Store via Firefox, because all they did was take out like a single line of like code, and so you just have something to reinsert that code, and the store is back up. Yep, I've used it. I'm like, wow. So they didn't get rid of the store there because the new store is built on top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can just re-access that old store. That's a lot easier to go through rather than their new design one.
The Play at Home final game, which, by the way, if you didn't collect your free at home games, they gone, bitch. But the last one is now available. That one is the only one available now, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. So go download it.
Nice.
Go download that shit. Ace Attorney is coming back. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles arrive on July 27th. It's coming to PC, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm excited. Herlock Sholmes, everybody.
Herlock Sholmes. We're going to get games with gold and PlayStation Plus games this week, aren't we? Yes, we are.
I've got a feeling games with gold will be rubbish.
I mean, John, that's not really like a fucking Miss Cleo type of prediction there. They've been kind of shit for a few
They have
months.
been pretty bad recently.
Yeah. Probably should just get rid of that. Speaking of Xbox Live Gold, which is funny because they changed the name of this like 2 months ago and nobody seems to remember. It's the Xbox Network. But now you can play free-to-play games. Guess what? Gasp, for free. Xbox Live Gold's requirement is no longer needed for free-to-play titles. So y'all can play your
there you go.
Fortnite,
Well done.
your Warzone, your Rocket League,
Rocket Leagues.
your Two Human.
Two Human.
Two
Oh,
Hu-
yes.
Two Human's a free-to-play game
Oh, yeah.
because they can't sell it. I wonder what the reason why the Crackdown games are just free. That's a weird one too. Like those
Yes.
games have been free for like 2 years, and I have no idea why.
I think they just announced them as free, like a part of like the "We're sorry, Crackdown's so fucking late. Please have another copy of Crackdown."
Yeah,
even
but
though
most of the time
we've
they
given it
take
away
that.
like 15 times.
But they stop doing that after a while. But now they're just free forever. I wonder if there's like a license on those games that they're not allowed to sell them or something.
Nah, they can't be. Well,
I mean, there certainly can be, John.
I think part of
Well,
it's
that-
probably that you can walk into any store and buy a disc copy of either for $1.
Well, I mean, I can do that with a
That-
lot of games that aren't free, Anthony.
No, you're right, but I think just that it's just easier to get the goodwill than to get the $5.
I mean, Crackdown's still a pretty fucking rad game. I ain't gonna lie. And Two Human
Yeah,
is better
that's-
than, is
first
better than
one's
you
great.
think it is. You leave Two Human alone.
Well, if Ryan was here,
Hey, I like Two Human.
some's guy.
It's fine.
Microsoft has announced the next batch of Xbox Series X/S FPS boost games, and every single one of them is from EA. It's the EA boost
on.
pack. So the games you get are Battlefield 1 at 120 frames a second, Battlefield 4 at 120 frames a second, Battlefield 5 at 120 frames a second.
I bet Battlefield 5 looks pretty damn good at 120 frames a second.
Oh, I know it do. Mirror's Edge Catalyst, 120 frames.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, how
I
about
played
that?
the shit out of that.
PvZ Garden Warfare and PvZ Battle for Neighborville, both at 120. PvZ Garden Warfare 2, 120. Sea of Solitude, 60. That's the only one that's a 60.
And it's
So-
gonna be the base version because like I still haven't seen the Switch version.
The Switch version,
the
that's
director's cut.
that's only on Switch, yeah.
Yeah, where they changed a bunch of stuff. I'm curious to know what they changed.
Battlefront and Battlefront 2, Titanfall 2, and Unravel 2, all at 120 frames.
The Unravel one's a bit
Titanfall
weird.
2, Titanfall 2, I think I'd like to have a look at.
I mean, that game is like $2 most days.
Yeah.
Well, it's also on Game Pass, so yeah.
Well, of course it is. It's an EA Play.
So I don't need to spend $2.
I mean, you should just give them $2, John.
To be fair, yeah. No.
This is why last
Yeah, but
week
it's
I
the
had
EA
no
I'm giving
qualms.
$2 too. It's not Respawn.
What?
It's not Respawn, I'm giving the
He's saying
$2
he
to
would
at the
give the
end.
$2 if it was going to Respawn, and I think he's still just a cheap piece of shit.
Fuck you.
I about spit my soda out on that one.
By the way, they were selling Titanfall 2 for $4 physical copies at dollar stores here. That's how many copies they were sitting on.
Dude, there's so many copies of Titanfall out there. I'm pretty sure
Fucking-
they give it away as like a sample in the mail.
Like the AOL discs.
Yeah, you get them with samples of Tide.
Just landfills filled with copies of Titanfall and Titanfall 2.
They're buried next to ET. You don't even know. DICE has revealed that Battlefield 6 reveal is coming. It's going to have, quote, massive battles and game-changing destruction.
What, you mean like
Battlefield.
They were meant to on the last generation, but then it did it for one game and then they decided, nah, it's too much hard work.
So the rumor around this is that it's only next gen.
Oh.
And the other rumor around it is that it's launching day one into Game Pass.
Huh.
Nah.
That's a pretty hard rumor out there. I've seen multiple places report that one.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Remember when they announced the new Test Drive Unlimited?
No.
No.
It's coming. It's called Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. It'll be available. It's coming from Nacon and KT Racing.
Okay, but the studio that made Test Drive Unlimited is available, so I don't know why they would find someone. Plus, Nacon kind of I have issues with, so...
Because the last game that the company that made Test Drive Unlimited was Alone in the Dark.
No, they're still around.
Yeah, but what was the last game they did?
Give me a second. They did...
Alone in the Dark.
They should be. They've been in a room by themselves ever since.
That's right.
Hold on.
They are alone in the dark.
I got you fucking stones.
They're like Hoobastank crawling in
The last game they did was F1 Mobile Racing. For that, it was Gear Club Unlimited and Gear Club Unlimited 2.
Both of those are bad video games.
Well, I don't know what the fuck you want from me.
Maybe
then.
that's why they're not doing the new Test
Maybe.
Drive Unlimited.
I just knew they still existed.
These guys made Test Drive Unlimited, which was actually a quality racing game, and Test Drive Unlimited 2. Yet the driving in Alone in the Dark was possibly the worst driving I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Yep.
You clearly haven't been in a car with me.
Clearly.
You clearly haven't been in a car with me either.
All right, you ready for my spicy one?
Spicy.
I got
Hot and spicy.
I got this hot and spicy rumor this weekend as I was perusing the Twitter.
Okay.
So we know Kojima's supposedly working with Xbox, right?
Oh, here we go.
Go on.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
So now what we're hearing is that Konami is shopping around the Metal Gear IP, and they're currently in conversations with Microsoft.
Oh wow.
And my
Who knows,
uncle
eh?
works at Nintendo. Fuck this.
Yeah, I Konami, no, because they don't give two shits about their video game business. Not a single solitary shit.
No, but they do give a shit about money.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
but I don't.
Are we expecting the middleman to be like Phil Spencer to sit down and be like, okay, so Konami gave us the rights to Metal Gear, and we got Kojima saying, hey, you want to do another Metal Gear game?
I mean, crazier things have happened, Drew.
It's true.
I'm not saying that it's not possible.
I love what this has caused. The only thing that I will, and I take everything with a grain of salt. I don't say that these things are confirmed unless I hear them from multiple people, from multiple sources. But I would love for this one to happen, because if Microsoft comes out and says, let's just say they're remaking the first game with like a side studio, right? They're going to remake Metal Gear Solid 1. And
there's that thing that
wait,
Hayter had heard that they were doing that.
Wait, it's only on Xbox.
I mean, yeah, that would probably be what would end up happening.
But could you imagine just think of the lineup of the fanboys, like a lineup like, like when you
remember how they got
and their heads would explode.
Metal Gear Solid 5 went to. Can you remember that when it was like that was a co-marketing deal with Xbox? They were very salty.
They were salty about a marketing deal. Imagine being salty about an exclusive. I don't want games to be only on one place because I think that's a bad practice, but I would just love to watch the explosion on the internet.
Look, let's not beat around the bush here, okay? The Sony fanboys are the loudest motherfuckers on the goddamn planet.
Yeah, because they're the winners,
they are.
according to them, except they don't win in anything, not even sales.
But, I mean, and You just want to see the PlayStation fanboys fucking squirm. That's it.
I do.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. It
let's,
is
just,
very
let's,
fun.
just, let's just admit it here, guys. Everybody knows that when you look at a post, like I mentioned the Wario thing, anytime you see him post X Series X is available, there's at least 10 comments saying nobody wants that shit. Tell me when a PlayStation's available. That's what they'll say. And you still see it with the Xbox guys, but they're quieter.
Yeah, are they quieter, or is it just because there's
Well,
there's not as many.
There's not as many, and they don't have anything to holler about except for Game Pass right now.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
That's a bloody good thing to holler about, though, isn't it?
It is, but still. All right, yeah, you got Game Pass. That's nice and all, but where's your next actual Microsoft?
I mean, we
game?
joked about it earlier.
Not
The next
only
first
do
party
they
game
have-
is fucking Halo.
Yeah,
Not only do they have Game Pass, but it has Sony games on it. I mean, that's funny.
Oh, I loved
that's a
watching
fun
that.
game.
You have no idea how much I enjoyed watching that squirm a couple weeks
But
ago.
Game Pass is ruining the industry, John. So you have to understand that.
Yeah, I
Fucking,
forget it's ruining the industry.
God,
Yeah, I forgot about it.
just people on the internet really ruin video games. I say on it podcasts on the internet.
both sides of this argument are dumb.
Yes,
But-
they are. You're stupid.
But I see the Sony fanboys all the time, and when I see them get upset, it makes me happy.
I smile
It
every time I
tickles
see
me.
them. I don't know. I'm not going to mention names, okay? I don't want to give any of these people credit. But I saw someone that we used to joke about a lot, Drew, just get ripped apart the other day, and I had to watch the whole 20-minute video, and all I did was laugh the entire time.
Is it somebody who flips sides?
Yes.
Okay, I need to watch that. You need to send it to me.
Yeah. It's the person that ripped him, I will give you that one, is Review Tech USA, which, yeah.
Yeah, Review Tech USA is an ass.
Yeah, and the guy he ripped the video
It's also an ass.
he's beyond an ass. The whole conversation was around like, look, dude, you tried to be a grifter and it failed. And I laughed the entire time I was watching the video. I was like, oh my god, this makes me smile so hard because I hate people like that from both sides. I really do. Like, if you're that Xbox guy out there going, look how many more 120 frames per second games we have. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You turned into fucking Yoda for a second.
More games we have, yes, 120 frames.
Now that was more German.
Shut up, Jekyll.
Jesus Christ, here we
Anyways,
go.
back to the original point. Konami is not going to sell Metal Gear.
Oh, yeah, they will.
No,
I'm
they
not talking
won't.
about
They
sell
use
it,
that
Anthony.
shit.
They're going to license it to somebody to make
Yeah,
a game.
yeah. Well, I'm just letting that be known now.
I
because
can
people don't understand that. This conversation we're having, maybe we understand it. The listeners may or may not, though. Like,
If
it'll be licensed.
Konami are to license this out, I can imagine one of the stipulations is whoever gets a game, it's not Kojima.
Would they do that?
I don't think
Yes.
they. I don't think so.
Nah.
Yeah, they
I
would
don't-
definitely cut their nose off to spite their face.
Nah.
They're
If the
not
money's
making
right,
money
I don't
right
think
now.
they'll do anything except cash the check.
They're back in the games market again. You've missed that part where they're remaking one of their old like NES games or Famicom games, I should say. They were in the Indies Direct. They aren't making a ton of money right now because you can't be in casinos. Well, they're not casinos in Japan, but you know what I mean. You can't be playing pachinko right now.
Yeah, you can't be playing pachinko.
So they need money somehow. And oh, look at that, video games.
I'm gonna tell you right now that Microsoft would pay a pretty penny to license the Metal Gear IP to put it on Xbox exclusively.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
Yes, but then like we know now that like no one's gonna be down for a Metal Gear without Kojima at this point.
Bullshit. If they remade the first one,
Remakes, yes. I mean like a new one.
I got an idea. Let's put 4 somewhere we can play it now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Because you can't play that game unless you have a
that would be nice
PS3.
to be able to go back and play for.
That
yeah.
actually might be exclusive.
I mean, how long would they have put that on? Because it's been over 10 years. There ain't no contract to last more than 10 years.
I don't know who funded that.
But
I don't know how much
isn't-
Sony's
isn't-
involved with the development of that.
I think it's on PlayStation now.
It is, but have you used PlayStation Now, John?
Oh no, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that it is still available. So maybe there's something there that
You don't
will
want to play
prevent
that
it
game.
from.
If
I
it
can
was
tell you that.
native and I could download it to PlayStation 5, I would play it. But
I didn't
streaming,
have to
that
wait
would
for it to
work- that
delete
would work.
everything to reload it.
dude, I got plenty of space.
No, that's how it fucking works. Because all those long loading times, it's like installing the new part, deleting the old part.
Just let me download the whole thing. You forget that game came out before everything was installed to the hard drive.
I'm just saying, it's
Just let me
that
put
game
the
needs to be
fucking
reworked.
let me put the fucking 150 gigs on my hard drive, and we're good.
But anyways, it's
But then you wouldn't get to watch Solid Snake smoke for 40 minutes.
Lord,
I
yeah.
don't need to watch him smoke. For
The-
40 minutes.
I don't know. I think that's it's kind of like how Sony was gonna buy Silent Hill for however fucking long that
People
would
still
be.
claim that's coming.
Yeah, fucking and Mother 3.
So is Metroid Prime Trilogy. That's coming too.
Yeah, fucking. So I like look at this fucking this rumor.
Nintendo's gonna drop
Yeah.
Metroid Prime Trilogy in a tweet one day.
Yeah. And that Mass Effect trilogy, that's never coming.
Next month.
Yeah, I'm joking. That was a joke.
Fucker.
Good joke.
But it's to me, it's like I don't know. I could totally see them licensing it out. I just don't think this is how it's gonna happen. And then Kojima's gonna be there. Like I don't know.
I don't
far-fetched.
think the Kojima thing is happening. That was just more facetious on my point.
No,
I think
I'm just
Microsoft
saying-
licensing Metal Gear and putting it on Xbox is
Yeah, see, I just
likely.
I think that Microsoft working with Kojima is more likely. I think that's more likely
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, that's kind of been
Metal
that's-
Gear being
So
exclusive.
I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this, but like, there's a lot of like Microsoft knows they have no games, right? So, and they know their games aren't going to be done this year. So
Sure.
the Kojima thing is just one of 4 games that they're supposedly in talks with third parties about to build for
We're
this
still
year.
not seeing the game this year, are we? I mean, even if they're doing something with Kojima, that's years and years.
Oh, no. The Kojima thing will just be announced. That game won't come out for a while. But they're trying to get people into the ecosystem, into Game Pass, with not only the games that they've got coming, but they're also trying to line up some exclusives. Because Sony got Final Fantasy 16. Sony supposedly has Silent Hill. So it's like Microsoft needs a couple of these. They need a couple of those Tomb Raiders.
Mm,
You remember that? Rise of the Tomb Raider?
yeah, that went down really well.
Yeah, that was a bad move. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But supposedly that's what they're doing, is they're working with third parties to build them AAA games. I don't know.
It just
It's all I can say is it's as it stands at the moment. Anything is possible, I guess, because we are in. Game Pass has changed the landscape quite considerably, and to call it a success is an understatement. And so, nothing's, I guess, out of the question when it comes to Microsoft building on that and pushing it further and getting it out to more people. So there is always that, but I don't know. It's this again. The Metal Gear thing. I'd love to see a new one, not a new one of those. I'd love to see a remake. I'm not sure what they'd do with a new one, but I'd love to see a remake of the first few games, maybe, and see how they would look on current generation of games.
What if they did
I
this?
don't know.
What if they did Metal Gear, the NES game, but
the
fully
MSX
remake?
ones because
Yeah.
nobody wants a remake of the NES one.
Hey,
Well,
Metal
you know
Gear
what
debuted on a Microsoft console. I don't know if you knew that.
MSX, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
where it started.
What if they did, the infiltration of outer heaven?
Hey, I play it.
I would too. Are you kidding me?
I don't really care where it goes. I play it.
What if we go to Zanzibar land again?
Oh man, I've been wanting to go to Zanzibar land, but COVID's fucked that up, Drew.
Zanzibar land.
Come on, everything in Kojima's world is stupid. Let's not.
My thing is, this is like, don't get too excited about Kojima stuff, because let's not forget Death Stranding.
I like
I
Death
love
Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Okay,
Death Stranding was a
Oh,
good
you
game.
kind of work
But-
there again.
but did it sell well?
I don't give a shit about sales, Drew. That's not my concern.
Well, all I'm saying is, I played about 3 hours of Death Stranding, and I was like, I can't play any more of this.
I mean, if you don't like the game, that's
Yeah,
fine.
and that's-
but the fanboy
and that-
argument is always going to be, well, what's going to sell? And I'm like, I don't give a shit what sells. I give a shit what I like to play.
Well,
And I'll be honest with you, Drew, and I hate this argument, so just like it. That is one of those games where you go, yeah, it doesn't get great until, but then I also can't justify it not being great up until that point either. So it's like that game, at 3 hours in, that's 2 cutscenes and 25 minutes of gameplay.
I get that, and
but
that's the reason why I stopped.
But there's large portions of that game where there's just no cutscenes.
There's
You're just
there's a
wandering
ton of like just gameplay.
back and forth, and then like as soon as it starts getting into the now you have, that game changes completely. But the problem is just you have to get there, and it's like, could you remove that first section? Yeah, but then does it feel as good when you get to the moment where you are now able to defend yourself? I don't know, because we don't live in the world where that's the case. So it's like, to me, Death Stranding earned its moments because it built up this you are helpless, and once I stopped being helpless in this big open world, it felt like a different game. I liked that game way more than I thought it was going to. 'Cause trust me, I was on the boat of looks so fucking stupid and crazy, and I don't need another one of those. Thankfully,
I'll tell
the
you-
sales numbers, I don't want another Death Stranding.
No.
That is all I wanted to play.
I don't want another Death Stranding, but I will tell you this about that game. I couldn't stop thinking about it for 6 months.
I still
So-
can't stop thinking about it now.
All right. So here, you've said it before, and I want you to reconfirm with me, Ken.
Yes.
I saw the first cutscene. They explained some things, said a lot of things I didn't understand. When I beat that game, will I completely understand everything that has happened in that game?
I feel yes. It's Kojima's most coherent story.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have
He's
to agree.
Definitely coherent. Yeah.
Does he leave it open for a sequel?
I mean, I guess you could probably make a follow-up to that.
He already said that if he ever made a sequel to it, he would drastically have to do something different because the story of the characters you are dealing with are done.
Yeah,
Like,
those
okay.
are over when the credits roll.
Gotcha.
And to the point where the only way he'd leave it open is sort of like how there shouldn't be a sequel to Nier, but they worked it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I ask this is because I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to suggest to Matt that we probably do this for Phoenix Down.
There we go.
It's a fatty. It's a long game.
Dude, we're doing Lost Odyssey and the Yakuza series right now,
but
so
look,
yeah.
I just want to explain to you that Death Stranding is a long game, but it's also a long game of walking.
So there's not much to talk about.
There's things to talk about for sure, but in the middle,
It has-
there's going to be some things not to talk about.
Yeah.
When you get
It
to the
has some-
end, is when you're going to talk about a lot.
Oh, the ending is so well done. I didn't think that. I remember going, there's no way he's going to be able to wrap this shit up.
He does.
Like- And he fucking does. And I went, this motherfucker.
He pulled it
Yeah.
off somehow.
It's for all of his fucking magic. I actually called it something else. It's nanobots and Metal Gear sort of stuff. He strays away from that in Death Stranding.
He actually, that's the thing, is like if you look at Metal Gear Solid, the series, he actually wraps it up pretty damn nicely in Metal Gear 4.
Yeah, that's why I
Yes.
want Metal Gear 4 available somewhere else.
That's the
he-
reason why he wanted to stop doing Metal Gear. He wanted to stop doing Metal Gear after Solid. Then they brought him back. He's like, fine, 2. did 3. It's a prequel, fine. And then he did 4, and he was like, I'm not doing any. Again, they were like, no, you're doing another one. So we did 5. And then they're like, this is a lot of money. Maybe we should wrap this shit up. Oh, here's Silent Hill. Never mind. And then it was just like, well, fucking, what do you expect from this?
I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 did a really good job of just like, all right, this is the end.
Yeah, it was the Star Wars checklist.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of get that in Death Stranding, in my opinion.
In the ending, yes.
Yep.
Maybe I'll do it. Like, I just,
I like
how can
that
I not?
game.
How can I not play every Kojima game?
I mean,
you know,
Death Stranding is one of those games that when I was reviewing it, they gave us a long time to review it.
yeah.
And I was playing it, and I remember talking to you guys while I was reviewing. I was like, I don't know about this game. This game is not very fun. And then, boy, I hit that second half of that game, and whoa, I couldn't stop thinking about that game.
How long does it take? How long does it actually take?
Game. It's probably
I think I want to say
40.
40.
Yeah.
40, 50, somewhere between that.
So it takes 40 hours to get to the good part?
No, that's the whole game.
That's the whole game.
Okay. All right. So about 20 hours to get to the good part?
I'd say more like 30.
Yeah.
Fuck off, man.
Like,
Are you fucking kidding me?
You get the breadcrumbs throughout.
Yeah, it's not that it's all
there's
bad
2
for the
portions.
first 30. Yeah.
There's
I'm on disc 4 of Lost Odyssey, and I'm only 30 hours in.
I mean, Death
Like,
Stranding is a long burn.
There's a long section. So there's the long section after you're kind of done the first part, before you hit the next sort of moment, and then it's kind of there's kind of a lot of story beats in there, and then there's the long gap between then and when you get to the mountain area. The mountain area is long just because you're trenching through snow.
Yeah.
Then you have a while again, and then it's just go till the end.
Yeah.
Like I remember finishing that game and like having to go to work that night, and I was just like, okay, I can either stop now and do this tomorrow, or I can see the ending right now. And I was just like, fuck it, we're staying up for another 2 hours and just finishing this. And I went to work tired, but fucking goddamn, that story was so good.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
It's really
I'm
good.
gonna suggest it to Matt. I'm sure Matt will say yes because he's a sucker for Kojima. So
It just like I'm telling
Should
you,
I
right,
be? I need to play that game. Should I be on that show? Ah,
see, that's the thing. Recording schedules may be an issue.
yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, maybe not.
You'll be recording at 3 a.m.
Yeah, maybe not.
the best way I can describe it is you don't feel like it feels like a very different game until you start getting the sort of heavier weapons, and then it starts feeling like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Which is more than halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Are there boss fights in that game?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's do some tweets and get out of here. Curtis says, "What's up, fellas? Hope all is well. Hey, Wombat, I totally agree with what you said about the gaming industry and its bitching when the music and movie industry ain't complaining. Ford don't care if you buy their cars used because you're still going to buy parts for that car eventually."
I still disagree with this argument that, first of all, I've heard like directors and say, yeah, not enough people saw our movie. They just aren't assholes on podcasts. Like, if that's what we're criticizing, then yes, that guy was a dickhead for saying you buy the fucking game at full price. First of all, how do people know they like the game if they haven't played it? Like,
Who said this?
one of the guys from the Days Gone team.
Well, he
Went
didn't
on-
do Days Gone, right? Like, he left before that game came out?
I don't remember, but it was like he went on David Jaffe's podcast or whatever. Yeah, and then he said you like a game at a fucking price. Well, how the fuck are you supposed to know if you like a game that's brand new?
Remember
New
when
IP,
they used to do
new
demos?
Yeah,
Sorry?
they don't do demos no more. What the fuck's a demo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when they used to do
Sorry,
demos?
and also if you're meant to pay full price for it, then why just say put it on a sale?
Yeah, and listen, I make fun of you, John, because I think you're cheap, but
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't think, but like, I mean, I said it last week. Like, I'm pretty sure we brought up Typing of the Dead, and it just hasn't hit the price where I feel comfortable paying it. And it's okay to have those feelings too. It's just like, yeah, at some point, like,
It ain't
the
my
devs
job
need
to make the
credit.
developers money. It's their
Sorry?
job to make me want to spend my money.
You're right, and I agree with that point. I also, though, said like my point last week was more of like you can't be surprised if something doesn't do well financially that you don't get more of. That was kind of my only point.
Yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
a
I agree
shock-
with that.
It's a shock that Nier got the second chance it got because, frankly, it shouldn't have. Deadly Premonition definitely fucking shouldn't have, proven by the second game. So, like, it's
Be
it
careful
goes-
what you wish for.
yeah, it's literally a blessing in disguise is the name of its fucking subtitle. Like, yeah,
The irony.
the irony. But other industries do this. Like I've heard musicians, like bands break up because they just don't get the reach and stuff. And the difference is they beg you on the front end to stream and like and stuff. And video games can't do that. The best they could do is tell you to pre-order. Because ultimately the end goal of the musicians is to have you go see them live. It's the labels that need to make the money off of artists. Artists don't make money, so they don't beg you for that. They want you to go out to their show and then buy merch. And movies, they want you to see this in the theater. That's the reason why, like, getting to the point where we are now, where everything is like streaming the day and date, like they did not want to do that right away because they want to make their money back. That way they can tell if it's worth continuing on. So it's like, yeah, the other industries just do it in different ways, and you don't have devs going on podcast. You don't have you don't have Steven Spielberg going out there and saying you should have seen the fucking movie in theaters. And they also get two chances at that. They get the chance of same with music industry. You get the singles, and then you get the album. With movies, you get the theatrical release, and then you get the home video release.
Yeah.
And video games, you get one chance, and it's
You got
like
one shot.
and yeah.
You gotta take care of you, that's the way.
Mum spaghetti.
But
Mom spaghetti.
you get one shot really, and from that one shot, it's like a car that you drive off the parking lot. It is just decreasing in value by the second once you put it out. So I understand that logic, but at the same time, you're right. And Ryan was right as well. They should make it more appealing, but then that's a conversation not so much with the devs, but the marketing team too. There's been plenty of games that have been marketed well that ended up sucking. But like, look at the cover of the original Nier and tell me that's a game you want to play. It does not look that interesting.
Well, if you think about the look of gamers or look of a cover, you think about how many in the like mid to like 20 between 2010 and 2020, how many games we got with a man with a gun on the front, generic man.
Yep, generic white guy, short hair.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, but I don't shop by covers anymore. I shop by trailers and YouTube plays, like gameplay.
What I'm saying, but Nier was my thing that I brought up because at the time it would have been covers and store shelves. And
Sure. Back then, you look at a cover.
Right.
But let's be fair. I was told when I was a kid to buy the first Mega Man, and I picked up the cover. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, dude,
That's bad
I played-
advertising.
the perfect example. I played the demo on the Pizza Hut demo disc of Metal Gear Solid. I went to Walmart and looked for that game, and I couldn't find it.
Because it's just
Yeah.
a white cover with red text on it.
That's it. And I was just like, what? This is weird.
And on the back, there's
Best
a
video
picture of
games ever
somebody
made.
talking to each other over like a video screen. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this looks stupid.
Yeah, it does. But no, that's one of the best games ever made.
All right. His next tweet says, the Mortal Kombat movie is a 6 out of 10 for me. It could have been better. Your thoughts? I loved it.
I loved it. Absolutely adored it.
I've watched it twice. God damn it. I loved it.
It was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
And I'm okay with that. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see people die. And they died.
I want to see people die in gruesome ways.
Yeah, it's Mortal Kombat. That's what I wanted.
I want to see Kung Lao take off his hat and chop somebody.
And he did.
And he did.
Yep. That was so good. And they did Sonya. I think they did Sonya Blade well, unlike the original movie, which she was one of the weakest characters. I thought she was really good in this. And Kano, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Mortal Kombat 11. They did Sonya Blade better than Mortal Kombat 11.
Well, that's not very
That's not too
hard.
hard to do.
Yeah.
What if they had actually hired Ronda Rousey to do it?
Oh God, no! I'd have been more upset with the movie.
Bad actress.
All right. His next tweet, kind of each person. Anthony, what's up? Everything good?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, this next one's good. Ken, I know you're an undercover Xbox fanboy. Been hearing it lately in your conversations on past episodes. It's all good, though.
No, I mean, we just fully admitted to it now.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's a
Um,
difference between being a
so-
fanboy and having a preference, Drew. Yes, I prefer the Xbox. That's not a secret. That's the one I play on the most.
For the longest time, I was the PlayStation fanboy, apparently, but now I own the Series X, and that's it.
But you're still a PlayStation fanboy that hates all of their first-party games.
This is true. I take that.
Games didn't all play the
No,
same.
no, no. I take that back. No. God of War is a fantastic game.
Okay, so you like one.
Zero Dawn.
I did love one of them. Horizon, I don't know.
Horizon.
Horizon was okay. Horizon was okay.
Oh, snap. You just blew their minds.
Well, I can blow their minds, but I'm sorry, but Horizon got on my nerves.
Horizon. Hold on. Horizon, the DLC though.
The DLC was fantastic.
Yeah, and that's clearly where, and to, like I'm pretty sure I said at the time, that's the same sort of stuff you end up seeing kind of in Death Stranding because it's the same engine. Like clearly, that is a more interesting part of that. It was just that wide open desert area in the first fucking Horizon that was rough.
The first part of Horizon, I was just like, I don't know about this. Yeah, you give me a whole bunch of enemies that just run straight toward me, and the only way to fight these enemies is using ranged weapons, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this.
That
Yeah.
sci-fi element though of that game is some of the best fucking sci-fi I've seen.
The story was really cool. You know, when I saw, you saw the Broncos Stadium and that little,
fucking
vision or whatever.
yeah.
I was like, I gotcha. Okay, this is kind of cool, but
But no, you have to
Don't
love
really like the
all
gameplay.
Sony first-party games, Drew. That's how that works.
sorry, that's not
He hates
going to happen.
he hates the big boys.
Yeah,
The Naughty Dog games.
Yeah.
the Naughty Dog
I can
games I could go without for the rest of my life.
But then there wouldn't be a PlayStation like dominance because those are the games.
I more power to them. They sell really well, and everybody loves them. And I think they play like garbage.
Man, I can't tell you how much people wanted to like murder me when I said Last of Us 2 was not a good video game.
I will never know because I will never play The Last of Us 2.
Oh, I did. I suffered through the 30 hours of that game. Oh.
Do you want to feel miserable? Last of Us 2.
John, nice hearing you again, mate. Hope you hang around more. You guys are always good. Listen, enjoy the rest of the day, fellas.
Thank you very much. I am here.
Real Shogun Beat says, I can excuse the dragon tattoos giving them superpowers, but they made a Mortal Kombat movie without the tournament. Come on, WB, stop the insanity.
Yeah,
That'll be
okay.
the next one.
Yeah, that's fair. There's no tournament in that movie, which is like the whole time that's what they were building to, and then like they never got to it.
Yeah,
Like the tournament never happened.
I kind of guess it adds. Yeah, I can see the point, but like it adds to the insidiousness of not Shao Kahn, to Shang Tsung. Like, oh, I'm going to kill them all before there's a tournament. That way, we're sure to win. It kind of adds a different story.
well, this is kind of an origin story for a lot of things.
Yeah, reboot. Next movie will have a tournament. Boy, there were some deep cuts in that movie, though. Some characters I didn't know we needed to have.
I also like some of the little nods, like the Nighthawk and
It's not Nighthawk.
and
It's Nightwolf.
Nightwolf.
Sorry, Nighthawk.
Thinking of T-Hawk.
T-Hawk, yes, I am. I don't know why I thought of that.
Dude, every frame in that movie has a reference. I don't know if you know
Yeah, I
that.
even like the some of the fatalities, like in the graffiti and stuff, was really cool.
Yeah, there's a reference in almost every scene. Like Lee May is in that movie, like a picture of her, and nobody remembers Lee May. Fucking Liu Kang name drops Bo Raicho. Come on. Sub-Zero does the ice clone. Come on.
I mean, Bo Raicho is like a pretty important part of the Mortal Kombat lore.
Yeah, but the
though.
only thing people remember about him is that he farts.
He farts and he drinks a lot.
Yeah, that's the only thing people remember about Bo Raicho, even though he was like Liu Kang's master.
It's like trainer, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
It's like having Star Wars without having Obi-Wan.
That
Yeah.
that film was great. I'm sorry, but I know that there's a lot of people hating on it, and I just don't see that at all. I loved it.
The reptile scene is awesome.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Although
I like
was
that scene.
slightly annoyed that he was poisonous, and then all of a sudden he wasn't.
Well, I think it was
Because
just
that's
coming out
how
of his
they-
mouth, right?
Yeah, but still, I don't know. I felt that was a bit of a cheat.
Kano ripped his fucking heart out. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just
My thing is they're killing characters off before the damn tournament.
Yeah, but Sub-Zero died in the first tournament anyway, right? And it's his brother.
His brother came
And
back.
his brother comes back to get revenge.
And the brother's actually the good guy.
Do y'all know what Kano tried to steal from Raiden's temple? Do you know what that was?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's the amulet.
That's Shinnok's amulet.
Oh,
Yeah.
the time traveling amulet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Shinnok's amulet.
Yeah, so I thought that would be in the story more, but it didn't. Wasn't.
Oh,
But
we didn't even
again-
see Shinnok or Quan Chi. So
No, again, gotta have a sequel.
yeah, because Quan Chi is the master of the Netherrealm. Come on now.
The Quan Chi. The only thing I can think of is the fucking the outtakes of that Sub-Zero video game.
Oh God.
It's so good. It's so good. Go watch the outtakes with Quan Chi on YouTube. It's this guy who is just like very strange and flamboyant, but with all this makeup on and looks like Quan Chi.
I thought that. Well, no, Richard DeVizio plays him in the game because he's also Kano and a couple other people. Sal DeVita plays a lot of characters in the game. He's in that Insert Coin documentary. It's like 7 Ways from Kevin Bacon, man. It's crazy. Sal DeVita also played Nightwolf, just so you know, John.
Sorry?
Never mind. You didn't grow up in the arcade. You don't know. You don't know.
Didn't grow up in the arcades, my ass.
You don't know who Sal DeVita is. He worked on the NBA Jam team, man.
Yeah, we don't. NBA Jam was in the arcades over here, dickhead.
Then you didn't have good arcades.
Well, no, we had British arcades. No one watches baseball over here or basketball over here.
Well, what'd you have? Like
Well,
fucking
they didn't at the time. Anyway.
FIFA Jam? Is that what you had?
No, there was no such thing as FIFA Jam.
All right. He also says FPS boost is nice. Played Battlefield 5 at 1440p, 120 hertz, super smooth. But I think I like 64K more. Have you guys tried playing around with FPS boost, especially the ones who have nice new TVs? You goddamn right I do.
Nope, don't have. I'm not rich.
You're
Like
not
Ken is.
rich. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Drew. Okay. I'm giving you the gif of the girl saying okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
I'm rich.
it's his Microsoft money, isn't it?
Yeah, because they
Isn't
paid.
it Jennifer Lawrence, the girl with the saying okay?
I
in
couldn't
the
remember her
GIF?
name, so I just be quiet.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm not rich. The TV wasn't that expensive, Drew. I'm sure you paid almost that much for your TV.
All right, so you paid over $1,000 for your TV.
Yeah,
My 4K TV, $400.
and that's why you ain't got 120 hertz, you broke ass motherfucker.
Exactly, rich motherfucker.
Oh,
You cocky motherfucker.
Macaulay Culkin just had a baby.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't even.
He is old. You do realise that.
I know
is
he's
40.
old. I know he's old, and 40's not old. You fucking
Wow,
retired.
yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
man,
like
little bitch.
But no, I saw that tweet like trending on Twitter the other day. I was like, I didn't even know he was like with somebody. Like
I
have
can't
a
remember
baby.
I can't remember what podcast he was like guesting on, but like I heard him talk about his girlfriend and that she was Asian, and then remember looking it up and being like, "Holy shit! I remember her from television, Brenda Song." Yeah, it was like surprised to find out that they had a kid, but
The funny thing
they've
was,
been together for a while. So.
well, yeah. Well, the funny thing was is when I saw that, I was watching something. Oh, I was watching Key and Peele, and she was in an episode right after I saw that on Twitter. I was like, "All right, Google, stop tracking me." Anyway,
Oh God, Brenda Song. Okay, so she was in that fucking movie Secret Obsession that was on Netflix.
I don't know
Don't
what that
watch-
is.
Don't watch that movie, but it's fucking stupid and insane.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna watch it, but okay.
It's so ridiculous.
Is that the one where she's held prisoner?
Yeah,
in,
so she's in a car wreck and she can't
yeah, she
remember
loses
who
her
she
memory.
is. And this guy poses as her husband, but
That was terrible.
it's fucking horrible. And I'm just like, fucking run. Why is everybody in this fucking movie insane?
I know it's a terrible, terrible, terrible film.
By the way, you should spend that more than the 50% of the people on this podcast will tell you to spend the $1,300 to buy that TV.
I mean, sure, but I don't have $1,300
And I'm
to
not,
spend
and I'm
on a
not in that
TV.
half because I'm a cheap piece of shit.
But yet you call out John for Game Pass every five. See, if you did more Game Passing, you'd have more money for a TV, Anthony.
My TV is only 2 years old,
Yeah,
boss.
mine's not
That's
that
old.
that old.
That's old, Drew.
And I used a 1080p television up until that point.
My
I'm good.
God, you fucking plebs.
The TV that I used to play on is my computer monitor. 24 inch.
I'm gonna be
26
real.
inch.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like, I would break the PC gaming community, but I'm using like some fucking bunk ass stock Dell monitors for my computer.
I'm using an old Acer 1080p monitor from probably 2014.
Yeah, I'm using like a 14 inch like Dell 1080p monitor. Like, does nothing. Like, there's nothing special about it. But I don't play games on my PC, so it don't matter. But my TV now, I gotta have the shit.
It's just, I just can't justify it, man.
Dude, if I showed you one game running at 120 frames a second on my TV, my OLED, you'd buy one.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I can't justify it to my wife.
Yeah.
You need to be married longer, because I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I was debating it, and she's the one that told me to click the button. She talked me into buying it.
No.
She's like, you need to buy that. That's what you want. You should buy that.
I think that you and Drew obviously have very different wives.
Well, no, he's just new to the game. It'll change. Like, if I'd have tried to buy a $1,500 TV when I first got married, my wife probably would have stabbed me in the face.
Yeah, we're thinking about maybe buying another house. So
Well, you need to when you've got all. I mean, you need more bedrooms when you have all those kids, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta get started on making them kids, though. Like, they take a while to cook. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
To be
but
fair, I thought the next time I would speak to you, Drew, I would be because you were a dad.
Well, not yet.
he'll make that announcement
that.
someday. He'll be like, I just pre-ordered a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Ready Player 3 that's a popular thing, isn't it? Oh, next
true.
like, yeah, they do all of that, don't they? A Ready Player 3.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's,
good. I
'cause
got one
it's
last.
cute, apparently.
I got one last tweet. It's gonna piss you
Okay.
off. You ready?
Me or who?
Everybody. It's gonna piss
Okay, cool.
everybody off. Everybody on the show and every listener, it's gonna piss them off. It's from Gambus Khan on
Oh,
Twitter.
I'm already pissed.
Exactly. It says, "Greetings, programs. I just wanted to say I love you guys and still the best video game podcast around." That is not true,
No, because he's not on
because
it.
you're not on it, Jason.
The fuck?
Yeah, you got time to
How
tweet
can you
at us,
do
but
that?
you ain't got time to show up.
How can you do that? That's just mean.
That is mean.
That's just a teaser.
You're being mean, Jason.
He's a cock tease.
You're just being
What can
mean.
you say? If Gambus Khan was on this
Being
podcast right now, and he'd been on here for the last couple of years, we would
400%
be
back.
we would be the biggest thing on the internet. Period.
Instantly having him on here makes this gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instantly. You know what we should do?
Tie
That's
him
it.
up and make him be on the show.
No. What we do is, you know how this week Apple announced, like, podcast is going up, like it's going to the next level, and people are going to be able to sort of pay premium and get features. Maybe we'll have two podcasts, like one's free and one's magically, if you pay, you get Gambus come in.
I feel like I could start a Patreon to get Gambus back on the show, and I would make money. Like, I'd have to pay him to be on the show
Yeah. Now with added Gambus.
because he's a premium feature.
He is a premium feature, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's it for the show this week. If you want to follow us on Twitter, John is John WK. Drew is at Drew Leachman. I am at ZTGD, and you can follow the site at ZTGD Content. Check out the podcast feed at N4G Podcast. Tweet at us there. Send us emails. You didn't send none this week. We had like 12 last week. We got none this week. Podcasts at ZTGD.com. Phoenix Down. How many more episodes is it going to take to finish Lost Odyssey?
15.
We're thinking 2 more episodes.
What's the game up after that?
That will be Yakuza Kiwami.
Kiwami.
Are you going to be doing Yakuza other game?
Yes, that is the
You're
plan.
really picking the wrong games to be the other games.
I mean,
You should have palate cleansers, something light and easy and quick.
Yeah, you should try Death Stranding.
So the game after. So we've already got the game after Yakuza Kiwami, which is going to be Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, good.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck's sake, what are you
You ain't
doing?
getting through all these games this year, I'm going to tell you.
No, we are not
You're not
planning
gonna-
on getting through them all this year.
Jesus, because you know full well the game now after Yakuza 0, or not Kiwami 2, is now going to be Death Stranding. So
Probably.
you are making a rod for your own back, sir. You have no one else to blame but yourself.
Well, to be honest with you, every week the only thing I really play is a Phoenix Down game
Yeah, that's
because I don't
fair.
really have time to play anything else.
At least you're playing a video game. I was in a funk until I got near, and now I've like blasted 2 hours of that in the last 2 days. It feels pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, to be fair, I've also been in a funk, and Control has kind of snapped me out of it a little bit. I am still very much looking forward to Mass Effect, though.
I mean, there's
really,
a lot.
really am looking
There's a
forward to that.
lot coming over the next couple weeks. So we've got Resident Evil next week.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
forgot
got
about
my
that.
copy of that.
Yeah, Resident Evil's
Friday.
Lady
next week.
Demis.
Lady Step on Me. Yep.
Lady
Lady
Dimitris.
Lady
Is
Big
that how you
Ass.
pronounce it? How do
Yeah.
you pronounce that?
Did you not watch the direct?
Dude, I haven't watched
Demetrius.
any footage of this game. I want to go in blind.
Do you see the picture Anthony posted from last week's show?
I did.
That is hilarious.
Dr. Grant hugging her ass.
Yeah. Her name is pronounced Lady Dimitris. That was
Dimitris.
that's what the host of the RE direct said.
Right.
And she's 9 feet tall or something.
Yeah,
And
9 feet. two
and
or
everybody
something
wants her
weird.
to step on them.
I did see a video. It was probably like a 10-second clip. She doesn't look scary.
No.
She does have a big claw that looks scary.
I get that, but I don't know.
You know what
Yes.
that- you know what
She
that-
talks too much. I think
I think
that's the
she's more
problem.
menacing.
Yeah, you know what the claw reminds me of? Do you remember in the first Batman Begins when he's like making the felt and he's got the glove on with the big?
Oh yeah.
It reminds me
Yeah,
of
the
that.
electric thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
But I don't know. You're saying it's like she doesn't look scary, but the fear, like, to give some credit, Mr. X, like, at first, it's not that he looks scary; it's that he just keeps coming.
He doesn't.
I don't
stop,
think
no.
I don't think the developers
Because-
want you to be scared of her. I think they want you to
Be horny.
yeah. Mission accomplished.
thirsty.
By the way, the internet
Yeah.
has proven
There's-
that.
There's apparently I was saying this, and yeah, a YouTuber I watched got paid by Capcom. Like, it's sponsored by Capcom. It's like, what would
Oh.
happen if she stepped on you?
Oh my god.
I mean, this is the same company that has life-size cutouts of her
Yeah.
in like
Capcom
game
knows
stores in
what they're
Japan.
doing.
They knew what they were
Capcom
doing.
saw this. Capcom, as soon as the internet went nuts for her, they went their PR market and just rubbed their hands together. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they know exactly. I mean, you saw that last trailer where she like sucks the blood out of your arm. I bet people like fainted when that happened.
Yeah. You know full well that is stored somewhere in lots of people's wank bank.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's a photo mode in this game, so
Oh, good.
I thought you were gonna say Photoshop of it. Like a
Well, there's going to be, obviously.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
There's,
they're not daft. And you know what? Fair play to them. I forgot that game was coming out, and I am, I'll be cool with some of that. I think at some
I'm
point.
Going to
I'll
be
wait for
downloading that to my
Game
Series
Pass,
X.
I'll wait
absolutely.
till it's on Game Pass.
Ray tracing running at 60 frames a second. Oh yeah, baby, it's gonna look good.
Need all the polygons on that.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Apparently, she follows you like through the whole game.
That's
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and that I think that's where the fear is going to come from. Because when
Yeah.
you're dealing with other things, that someone's consistently just following you around. I don't think it'd matter what they look like.
I want to
Eventually
see.
that gets
Especially
to
9 feet tall.
My thing is that, like I said, she talks too much. What makes Mr. X scary is that he never says anything.
I want to see the death counts on the really horny people.
I understand why this game can't be in VR now.
I got an F ranking because I died a million times.
Oh no! I tripped and fell. Please don't
Oh
catch me.
no! Don't catch me! Oh, I got a close up.
Let me
I mean,
interact
I
photo mode here real quick.
Take a couple pictures.
I honestly don't know this, but I should imagine Pornhub's already got you sorted.
I'm willing to bet you that there is already a.
Oh, I
porn
bet you there's
parody
a
list.
whole like subcategory, brother.
Oh my
Probably.
god!
My friend said that like there's also a Reddit.
Oh,
For Lady
Or,
Dimitri.
no, just for Resident Evil porn.
Oh
Oh,
well, yeah,
wow.
but this is going to take it to a new level.
I'm sure that
Yeah, this.
Reddit is just filled right now. Yeah, still, I was like, what?
I mean, there's already been 600.
I'm like, yeah, but I don't also think that there's a Reddit for every type of porn. So
I mean, Overwatch is
probably is.
big. Overwatch is big for that.
oh my
I remember
god!
it being on a list of like the most searched things, though. Too. That's the only reason why I know about the Overwatch one.
Yeah, the Overwatch one was real big.
Yeah, but that's also because Activision stepped in and tried to stop some of it. That's the difference. I think that made it more newsworthy because Activision came in and actually started trying to copyright sort of ban that stuff out.
I'll tell you the shocking one that you might not think of that's really big is Guilty Gear.
I'm not that shocked.
I mean, you're not shocked, but it's not one that you would think is like mainstream.
Oh, you're right. I guess. Yeah, all right. Let me rephrase that. I'm not shocked that there's an audience for it. I am shocked that it's bigger than, say, like Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter's not that big.
Capcom also, Capcom that deals with Street Fighter is a little bit more of no.
Except the fact that they put out an official swimsuit edition book, but whatever.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, they did. I don't know if you've seen Wario64's feed, but every time he posts a picture of that book, it's yeah, don't look at the comments.
Know your
I didn't
audience.
even know that existed.
Yeah.
So clearly I skipped over that one.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for all of that.
Horny hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Time to go and
Unless anybody
wash
has
with plastic soap.
Yeah, unless anybody has anything else, we'll get out of here. Go have fun with your photo mode. Peace, bitches.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. Zero tolerance.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
I've always lived in angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.